Live from Springwater Township, Baycats TV presents the Inter-County Baseball League. And tonight, it's the 2025 season opener at the newly named Athletic Kulture Stadium, home of the defending IBL champion, Barrie Baycats. Tonight, they take on the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the broadcast. Along with Julius, Hern, I'm Ben Davy. Well, the good news for Baycats fans is that this team remains largely intact. A few notable absences, however. They've done a really nice job filling some of those holes, Julius. 4 players will make their Baycats debut here tonight. And
among them, Tristan Clark, a guy I'm really excited about, a power bat in this Baycats outfield. The guy hit 2 home runs in Saturday's exhibition game against the Thornhill Reds. I think with some of the notable absences from this team that we'll get into a little bit later, he's going to provide a great fit.
For Toronto, much different looking team. No Jonathan Salazzo this year, no Jose Vinicio, but they too have plugged the holes nicely with some newly acquired talent.
And similar to Tristan Clark, I think that Dennis DeBanning, a guy, he hit a home run in the season opener, a loss to Kitchener, but another guy that can provide a powerful bat in this Toronto Maple Leafs outfield, so I'm very excited to see him play in a Maple Leafs uniform.
Time to get the 2025 season underway. We've got a nice on-field pregame ceremony to kick off the broadcast tonight. Let's go down to field level and join public address announcer Rob Daniels.
Stadium for season number 24 of Barrie Baycats Baseball. It's Athletic Kulture opening night as your 2024 Inter-County Baseball League champion Barrie Baycats play host to the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, before we announce the 2024 IBL champs, we do have a very special video for you to watch. So if you could please direct your attention to the video board in right field, that would be greatly appreciated. Enjoy.
Last begins now.
A swing and a high fly ball! Yeah!
Ryan Rijo with a blast.
Swing and a miss! Juan Benitez!
Let's give it up for the Barrie Baycats 2024 IBL champions. And now it's time to hear from the man who puts this all together. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Baycats president, Josh Matlow.
Thank you. Well, here we are, 2024 champions. What can be said that hasn't been said about last season? 10-0 in the playoffs. We didn't trail for 93 straight innings. 93 straight innings, the entire playoffs. So before we flip the page to 2025 and welcome you to the opening game, I just want to reflect quickly on 2024. I want to say thank you to everyone who's been involved in the organization from top to bottom. Thank you to the ownership for your support and your appetite to win every single year, year after year, allowing me to be me. I'm grateful for that. Thank you to the volunteers, those warm smiles when you come in. And if you're lucky enough, a hug. Thank you guys for that. Thank you to the media team. Thank you for everything you do. Top tier content. Thank you to my team. Thank you to our champions. Thank you guys for believing in the coaching staff, in the organization, in the culture. Thank you guys for putting it together and playing as one unit. I love you guys. I could not do any of this without you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to the families of the players for following us around, for being there on the road, for motivating these guys. That means the world to us, the world to me, and we're grateful for that. And last but not least, actually, please take a look around. All the signage, the sponsors, the programs on the broadcast. If it wasn't for almost 160 sponsors, we would not be here right now. So a quick round of applause for them. And last but not least, the fans, you guys. You guys are our driving force. You guys follow us around on the road in Guelph. That scene was crazy. That meant the world. Thank you guys for being there. The players were appreciative. I'm grateful for that. Please keep coming out and supporting us. You have no idea how much it means to us. We hear you guys. We hear your energy, and we're grateful for it. So thank you. Now welcome to 2025. If you guys had a good time in 2024, buckle up, because 2025 is going to be fun.
Go get it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet your 2024 IBL champions, starting with the returning players. Number 97, Frank Garces. Number 55, Hayden Jaco. Number 51, Adam Kahn. Number 49, Ryan Lacasse. Number 45, Braden Pakala. Number 44, Tyler Plumpton. Number 39, Cesar Rosado. Number 35, Malik Williams. Number 34, James Anderson. Number 33, Asefa Jones. Number 32, Christian Lazar. Number 30, Juan Benitez. Number 28, Noah Hull. Number 27, Ryan Rio. Number 26, Adam Odd. Number 20, Nolan Mecabroda. Number 17, Carlos Sano. Number 12, Brad Grieveson. Number 11, Brandon Hernandez. Number 8, Branfy Infante. And now for the coaches. First base coach, number 15, Jeremy Eulenbrook. Coach number 15, Andrew White. Baycats manager, number 18, Josh Matlow. Athletic therapist, Katerina Sinderis. And medical director, Rick Shaley. Okay, fans, please join us in welcoming back 2 more Inter-County Baseball League champions. Here to receive their championship rings, number 9, Canis Ejo. And number 7, Royce Ando. Congratulations. Fans, let's hear it one more time for your 2024 Inter-County Baseball League champion, Barrie Baycats. And now, your 2025 Barrie Baycats, managed by Josh Matlow. Starting with the non-starters from San Cristobal, Dominican Republic, 2024 IBL Playoff MVP, left-handed pitcher number 97, Frank Garces. From Sudbury, Ontario, left-handed pitcher number 45, Braden Pakala. From Peterborough, Ontario, catcher number 44, Tyler Plumpton. From Sudbury, Ontario, welcome to the Baycats, left-handed pitcher number 41, Ethan Morris. From Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, 2024 IBL All-Star, right-handed pitcher number 39, Cesar Rosado. From Barrie, Ontario, outfielder number 34, James Anderson. From Mississauga, Ontario, left-handed pitcher number 32, Christian Lazar. From San Cristobal, Dominican Republic, right-handed pitcher number 17, Carlos Sano. From Barrie, Ontario, right-handed pitcher number 12, Brad Grieveson. From Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, infielder number 8, Brandfee In. Third base coach number 19, Andrew White. Pitching coach and current Baycats pitcher number 12, Brad Grieveson. President, general manager, and manager of the Baycats, number 18, Josh Matlow. Athletic therapist, Katerina Sinderis. And medical director, Rick Shaley. Now for your 2025 opening day starters for the Baycats. Batting first from Montreal, Quebec, welcome to the Baycats, second baseman number 0, Francisco Hernandez. Batting second from Montreal, Quebec, shortstop number 11, Brandon Hernandez. Batting third from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, welcome to the Baycats, outfielder number 4, Willie Garcia. Batting fourth from Barrie, Ontario, 2024 IBL second team All-Star designated hitter number 27, Ryan Rio. Batting fifth from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, 2024 IBL All-Star first baseman number 20, Nolan Makibroda. Batting sixth from Brampton, Ontario, welcome to the Baycats, center fielder number 6, Tristan Clark. Batting seventh from Streetsville, Ontario, third baseman number 26, Adam Odd. Batting eighth from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, the catcher number 14, Lelise Beltran. Batting ninth from Coquitlam, British Columbia, 2024 IBL All-Star, left fielder number 55, Hayden Jaco. And on the mound for your Barrie Baycats from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, 2024 IBL All-Star, right-handed pitcher number 30, Juan Benitez. Here are the umpires for tonight's contest. Handling home plate, we have Chubba Vey. At first base, Don Michel. And at third base, Ryan Jackson. Fans, at this time, we ask you to please rise if you are able to, and kindly remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. Athletic Kulture is Barrie's best gym, located at 154 Reed Drive in Barrie, and is open 24 hours a day, featuring the highest quality of equipment for all needs, whether you are just starting out on your fitness journey or a seasoned athlete. Athletic Kulture has the resources and facility for you. So, we figured since it's Athletic Kulture opening night, it's only fitting that we let them throw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch. Please welcome Athletic Kulture operating partner, Mr. Todd Sloan. Todd, it's your pitch.
We are ready for baseball here at the newly named home of the Barrie Baycats. Ben, Davy, and Julius Hern with you, along with Maddie Gale, our sideline reporter. Let's jump right into the starting lineups for these clubs. First for manager Rob Butler's Toronto Maple Leafs. It's left fielder and leadoff man Ryan DeSantos, followed by John Javier, the catcher. Newcomer Rando Moreno is the shortstop. He bats third. Former Baycat MVP Jordan Castaldo in the cleanup spot. At first base, Justin Mara, the DH, bats fifth. It's Marcus Connect, the heavy-hitting right fielder in the number 6 spot. Dennis Day-Banning, for his first season in Toronto, second game with the club. He's in center field batting 7th. Spencer Ross is the third baseman hitting 8th. And veteran Dan Mara at second base batting 9th. Starting lineups brought to you by Sports Medicine, the official clinic of the Barrie Baycats.
And on the mound for the Barrie Baycats, his second consecutive opening night start, it's Juan Benitez, coming off an all-star season, a 2.96 ERA, and a 7-1 record in 2024. And Lelise Beltran catching him. I'm sure that connection there a little bit, two Dominican players, both imports for this 2025 Baycats roster. It's going to be a much better connection between catching and pitching staffs looking forward for this 2025 year.
And a real pleasure to be back on the mic with you, partner.
You
after,
too.
An exciting championship run in 2024. Everybody here excited to finally get this season underway. It felt like a long off season, even though it stretched out well into September and then some public events even after that. So it was actually a short off season, but it felt like a long one.
Yeah, weird that it felt longer despite actually being shorter. But I mean, I'm so happy to be back in the broadcast booth with you, Ben. And it's a beautiful night for baseball.
Juan Benitez, who had a phenomenal 7-1 record last season for the Baycats, and of course a perfect 3-0 in the playoffs. Barrie 10-0, a perfect postseason run going wire to wire. And another big story that we'll be talking a lot about tonight is the consecutive completed inning streak of not trailing in the ball game. Currently sits at 95 innings. 93 was the number that we were using for the postseason streak, but there were 2 innings in the final game of the regular season that get added to that 93 total. So 95 innings where the Baycats have not trailed at the conclusion of the inning.
And if you think about the exhibition game against Thornhill on Saturday, that would extend to 104, but I will think we'll stick with 95.
And if you stick with the media game we played in as well, and you consider us the Baycats, well, we were all Baycats, I guess, that day, but I guess the media innings don't count, and neither do the Thornhill ones.
No.
I had you thinking there for a moment, though, didn't I? Here we go. As Juan Benitez looks in, Chubave, the home plate umpire, Don Michelle at first, Ryan Jackson at third. The first pitch is off the plate, low and in. We're underway at 7:57 after an extended pregame ceremony tonight to honor the 2025 IBL champion Barrie Baycats. Second pitch is skied high to left field, pretty deep, and it is gone. A solo home run for leadoff man Ryan DeSantos off Juan Benitez. 1-0 Toronto.
Well, clearly the extended pregame ceremony didn't falter the Maple Leafs batting order that much, not at all. A quick jump to this ball game for Toronto. A great solo home run by Ryan DeSantos, continuing off of what was a career-high year in 2024.
If anything, it might have helped the Leafs because I noticed they were taking lots of aggressive swings in front of the dugout as the Baycats were doing their championship celebration. So maybe giving them a little bit of extra time to get those swings in. We'll see. But this heavy-hitting Toronto Maple Leaf team strikes first here tonight at Athletic Kulture Stadium. This is John Javier. The catcher gets out to a 1-1 count here. It's a called strike on that last one.
A new addition to this Maple Leafs lineup.
Another hard hit ball. This one straight away center field. Willie Garcia slips, and it gets over his head. It goes all the way to the wall. He goes back to pick it up. digging hard for second is Javier. He's going to try for 3. The throw cut off by Hernandez. Here it comes. It's offline, and it's a triple for John Javier.
Looked like Tristan Clark had a beat on it right off the bat, but just lost his footing out there in center field. He had some great defensive plays on Saturday in exhibition play, but that one clearly, I wouldn't blame that on him as much. It's going to be ruled as a triple.
My mistake. That was Clark in center, not Garcia. We got to give you the defense here for the Baycats as well. We'll do it after this next pitch as Rando Moreno steps in. First pitch outside. So the defense for Barrie looks like this.
So Hayden Jaco in left, Tristan Clark there in center, Willie Garcia, the former big leaguer, in right. It's odd, and then the Hernandez brothers up the middle with Nolan Macabrota at first and Lelise Beltran behind the dish.
Ground ball picked up by Nolan Macabrota. He'll make the underhand toss to Juan Benitez, who's covering for the out. Run scores 2-0 Toronto.
First baseman number 5.
So Dos Santos and Javier both crossing the plate early, 2-0 Toronto. And here is a familiar name and face to Baycat fans, Jordan Castaldo. MVP credentials. He has spent time with both of these organizations. Part of the Baycats championship legacy from the previous decade. And Benitez gets ahead in the count 0-1.
Castaldo, 36 years old. Obviously, we mentioned the former Baycat and multiple-time champion with this club.
This one hit through the hole between short and third and left field. And that one skips over Hayden Jaco. Took a nasty hop. That's a double for Jordan Castaldo. That'll bring Justin Mara to the plate with one away. And a tough start to this ball game for Dominican right-hander Juan Benitez.
You can tell the grounds are definitely hindering the Baycats too. Andrew White told me earlier that it definitely seemed a bit drier, but you know that throughout the season, things will start to flatten out. But obviously, so early into this season, you can't really make any predictions on how a ball's going to hit the ground.
Well, that ball definitely took an unusual skip over Jaco, who played it in a good position, but the bounce got by him.
Squared up right in front of it. It's a crazy hop. Toronto's nearly hit for the cycle in this inning.
In the case of the ball that Javier hit, and Clark losing his footing and slipping. It's an 0-1 count to Justin Mara. The left-hander waggles the bat. Pitch from Benitez, hit hard to second. And it's dropped by Hernandez. He has no play. And that puts runners on the corners. Hard hit ball. He backhanded it. Couldn't keep it in his glove, though.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be scored an error or an infield single. It looked like Hernandez clearly had a beat on it, just came right out of his glove as he was trying to set his feet.
Well, no errors assessed to the Baycats so far in this inning, but definitely some defensive misfortune.
Looks like they've scored a hit. We have 4 hits on the board for Toronto. So Toronto has hit for the cycle in this inning already. Quick start.
Marcus Connect now. First pitch fastball. It's a called strike. Benitez has been getting ahead of the hitters here. I think it's the third straight now that he's gotten ahead on 0-1.
It's also a matter of Toronto having played a game earlier. They're kind of, they've had the game rhythm already coming into this game.
Little check swing, and it glances off the bat of Connecting, goes into the trees, so it's an 0-2 count. Benitez would love a strikeout here, if not a ground ball, and try to get that double play to get the Baycats off the field. Still just one out. We're in the top of the first. 2-0 Toronto. Bounces up to the plate. Beltran off with the mask. He has no play as Mara takes second base.
A tough one for Beltran to come up with cleanly. It's an easy take of second base there for Justin Mara.
It's a 2 in scoring position now. If Connect can get a hold of one. This one up the middle to the shortstop. Brandon Hernandez running throw in time for the out. Another run across for Toronto. 3-0 Maple Leafs.
Center fielder, number 19.
So a couple of ground balls for Juan Benitez, but both of them bringing in runs. Moreno brought in John Javier, and Connect brings home Jordan Castaldo. Justin Mara goes to third. And just like that, it's 3-0 Maple Leafs. So the Baycats will have some work to do in the bottom half of the inning to try to keep this streak alive that we've talked about so much. 95 consecutive completed innings without trailing.
Had the feeling that there might be an announcer's jinx in there, Ben.
You're not going to blame that on us. No, you don't. We talked about it a lot during the finals. It was truly remarkable.
It was.
I shouldn't say was as if it's past tense. It's still still intact.
It seemed like no matter what happened to the Baycats in the top of any inning, they would come back and it'd either be tied or they'd be right back in front, just like that.
Pitch is outside, and the count is 1-2. Juan Benitez looks in for the sign from Luis Beltran, who sets up. Here's the pitch. On the ground, down the line, foul. Maple Leafs last year, 17-25. Didn't get off to a great start. Heated up a little bit in the last couple of weeks of the season, but ultimately fell to these Barrie Baycats in the first round of last year's IBL playoffs. A 3-game sweep for Barrie. Looking to get off to a better start here in 2025. That one just missed. Benitez with a long look in.
Yeah, it almost looked like it right, towards the start of June, maybe mid-June, that this team was at risk of not making the playoffs, but they really turned it on late in the last 6 weeks or so.
Dennis Day-Banning with a swing and a miss, strike 3. It's brought to you by IMP North, and it will get Barrie off the field, but not before the Maple Leafs strike for 3. And Toronto on top through half an inning. You're watching Baycats TV on Rogers TV Barrie and Baycats TV on YouTube.
I'm Chrissy Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Yeah.
Fans, anyone retrieving a
First inning of
baseball,
play
you can
brought
play
to you
in
by
the
Park
game
Place,
center
Barrie's
inside
Grand
Baycats
Slam
Baseball
destination for
Baseball.
dining, shopping, and fun. See you after the game.
The lineup for Josh Matlow's Barrie Baycats, brought to you by Sports Medicine, the official clinic of the Barrie Baycats, and some new faces as some players make their Baycats debut here tonight. The man at the plate to lead it off is Francisco Hernandez. He's the leadoff man at second base. Brother Brandon, back for his second season, is at shortstop batting second. Newcomer Willie Garcia, right fielder batting third. Ryan Rio in the cleanup spot DHing. Nolan Macabrota back with Barrie at first base batting fifth. Tristan Clark is in center field batting sixth. Adam Odd, Luis Beltran, and Hayden Jaco round out the order 7 through 9.
On the mound, making his IBL debut, Josh Berenbaum. Played the last 2 seasons out in the Western Canadian Baseball League with Victoria and then Kamloops in 2024. 4.80 ERA and then a 4 ERA from 2023 to 24. And smaller guy, just 5'10", 170, but he's got a big arm and he's very much a strikeout pitcher.
25-year-old right-hander spending time at the University of the Fraser Valley. And he's here making his IBL debut tonight with Toronto. A called strike. to Francisco Hernandez, and the count is 1-2.
And quite a large arsenal for him, four-seam fastball, a curveball, changeup, sinker, and a cutter. So these Baycats are going to see a lot of different pitches coming their way right off the hop.
Called strike to Hernandez. Back to the dugout he goes, one away.
Let's give it the defense for these Toronto Maple Leafs, managed by Rob Butler. It's going to be Ryan Dos Santos, a big homer in the first. He's in left. Dennis DeBanning, a new addition in center. Marcus Connect out in right. Meanwhile, Spencer Rost, a new addition, formerly of the Kitchener Panthers, at third. Rando Moreno, new addition at short. And then Dan Mara, Jordan Castaldo at first. And then John Javier is behind the plate.
Brandon Hernandez had one of the best Baycat rookie seasons in recent memory. Joined the club in time to get into 21 games and put together a .353 batting average and some really solid defense for the Baycats in the middle infield as well. And he hits this one hard to center field. It's pretty deep. It's up, and it'll bounce against the base of the fence. Dennis DeBanning picks it up, makes the throw. It's cut off. And in with a triple is Brandon Hernandez.
Someone had to match the firepower that the Maple Leafs came out with in the top of the first inning, and no better than Brandon Hernandez, the number 2 hitter. Saw it all year from him in 2024, constantly a guy that Josh Matlow calls the best shortstop in the IBL, and he's proven it right there. His first hit of the year is a triple.
And here comes a former major leaguer, Willie Garcia, a one-time member of the Chicago White Sox, will make his IBL debut here tonight with the Baycats. Power right-handed bat, playing right field tonight. Played with Chicago in 2017.
40-game Major League career, hit a couple home runs. About a .220 batting average, but he's a guy, he was telling me he's excited to be in the IBL this year.
Takes the first pitch strike. Fun fact, Willie Garcia was a member of the first ever all-Garcia outfield to play in a Major League Baseball game.
That's incredible.
He was out with Leury Garcia and Avisail Garcia. First time in Major League history, 3 Garcias were all in the outfield at the same time.
Now, was at the same time a whole outfield was all the same last name period, or just Garcias?
Good question. I know it was the first all-Garcia outfield. I can't say for sure if it was the first with 3 last names, but
that deserves a deep dive for sure.
It definitely does. I'd have to think it would have been done at some point. Smith, Jones.
Yeah, you never know.
Something like that. Garcia, certainly a very common Hispanic last name, but first time ever in Major League history that it happened. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch to Willie. Hits it to third and through into left field. It brings in Brandon Hernandez, and the Baycats are on the board. Welcome to Barrie, Willie Garcia. He gets his first RBI, and it's a 3-1 Toronto lead.
Not scored an error on Spencer Ross. That ball was hit way too hard for a guy that was playing a little bit in to cut down the run at home plate, but just gets over his glove hand. Willie Garcia, nice welcome to Barrie.
Ryan Rio.
Well, these two clubs have been known for some high-scoring games throughout history, head-to-head, but most of those being at Christie Pitts in Toronto with the short outfield dimensions. A 3-1 score already here, and Mr. Ryan Rio is hit on the mid part of the arm, right above the elbow. First hit batter of the game, 2 on for first baseman Nolan Macabrota. And here's a guy that can keep that 95-inning streak intact with 1 swing of the bat.
He hit a home run in the exhibition game, Nolan Macabrota. Happy to see him back with the Baycats. He had an opportunity with the Ottawa Titans of the Frontier League, but cut not too long ago, along with Kenice Ejo, another former teammate of his on this Barrie Baycats team. So one of the guys that we didn't expect to come back to this Baycats roster, but he's a fine addition, that's for sure.
And we talked a lot about Brandon Hernandez's outstanding rookie season, but Nolan Macabrota not far behind. .331 average, 5 homers, 27 RBIs. Outstanding season for the Baycat rookie. He's back for his 2nd season here with the ball club.
And we saw right away on Saturday against Thornhill in the exhibition play, he can hit the ball the other way quite hard, and the Maple Leafs with Moreno are shifting him pretty far over to the right. He's playing nearly up the middle at shortstop.
Takes the pitch low. Ahead in the count here, 2 balls, no strikes. Wind blowing the opposite direction from usual here tonight at Athletic Kulture Stadium. It's blowing from left to right. It's a southeast wind. Usually we get northwest winds. Different case tonight. Nice warm evening here at the ballpark. 23-degree game time temperature, 27 humidex, but that temperature is going to drop several degrees by the time we conclude tonight's game. There you see the flags over the right field scoreboard. 3-0. Berenbaum needs a strike here. Macabrota takes all the way, and it is a called strike. Kind of clouded over a little bit here, too, in the early evening after a beautiful, clear, sunny sky in Barrie earlier this afternoon. We're not expecting any showers, though, until the overnight hours, long after the conclusion of this game. Here's the pitch, and it's a 3-2 count. So Macabrota taking 5 in a row, and he knows he'll likely see something good here on the 3-2.
Very much a patient hitter, not showing Berenbaum what he wants right away, really working the count here up to 3-2.
Berenbaum to the belt, checks the runner, looks twice, kicks and deals. High fastball, the bases are loaded. Garcia to third, Rio to second, Macabrota to first. And here's a man who hit 2 home runs against the Thornhill Reds in that exhibition game last week, Baycat rookie Tristan Clark. You know you've got a good roster here when the rookies are bringing as much excitement. The first-year players are creating as much buzz as the veteran regulars.
Well, clearly Tristan Clark among a few of them that played in Saturday's exhibition game, and when you welcome yourself to Barrie with 2 long home runs, you're definitely going to get the crowd fired up. And think about it that way, he was hitting in the number 2 spot in the order of that game. He's all the way down to number 6, which is crazy to say how stacked this Barrie roster is. When you have Hayden Jaco in your 9 spot, clearly you've done something right, and Josh Matlow feels like he has a surplus of talent on this roster.
So the Toronto Maple Leafs will use a mound visit. They get 6 in the ball game, which is an interesting new rule that was added to the IBL, 6 mound visits. It seems like a lot. I can't recall a game where all 6 were used.
I don't think there was a game that we called in the IBL last year where all 6 were used, but I'm certain that there were plenty in Major League Baseball where there's 5 mound visits allotted to each team in that game. I'm sure they all get used up by the end of the 9th inning.
Berenbaum's pitch, a high fly ball to right field. Should stay in the park. Marcus Connect coming over, going back, reaches up and makes the catch. And the runner at third will tag and score. Willie Garcia is in. It's a 3-2 ball game. So Tristan Clark with a nice job barreling up on that deep fly ball to get a runner in. And here's Adam Odd now, the hero of Game 1 of the IBL Championship Series. An extra innings walk-off home run. And a chance for him here to keep this 95-inning streak alive. Barrie trailing by a run now with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
Well, Tristan Clark, that's exactly what you want him to do, hit that deep fly ball, kind of like a coffin corner. Got Marcus Connect all the way out near that right field foul pole, plenty deep enough to score Garcia.
Berenbaum deals. Odd lays off, it's high, ball 1. Lilise Beltran, the newcomer catcher, batting 8th, is on deck. (3-2) Toronto. Popped up, and it's well over our heads and out of play. 1-1 the count.
Well, there is action in the Toronto bullpen. Benjamin Sidorinios is warming up, the right-hander. Obviously, Berenbaum feeling a little bit of that pressure here to start his first IBL appearance.
Berenbaum with a 1-1 count on Adam Odd. Here's the pitch. Called strike. 1-2.
You could argue that was a perfect pitch, a little bit of breaking movement toward the inside, keeping on the outside of the plate, and it's against Adam Ott, a guy that before I got to the ballpark had already taken 4 rounds of BP, so he's clearly ready, even though he's batting so low in the lineup compared to his usual.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. It's high and away. 2-2. Are you as nervous as I am about this streak? Comes right down to it here with a 2-strike count and 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning. Barrie down by a run. It's not the 9th inning, but it feels like it.
Well, if Adam Ott was somebody who saved it in the playoffs, could keep it alive here.
And he stays alive, fouling it off. No, that's a good point. Barrie trailed in that game in the top half of the 10th inning and had to come back and tie it in the bottom. An RBI single by Royce Ando kept the game alive and got Barrie back into it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Barenbaum deals. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, big strikeout for Barenbaum, and that concludes the consecutive innings streak of never trailing at 95. But what a streak it was. Baycats get a couple of runs. It's a 3-2 Toronto lead after an inning here at Athletic Kulture Stadium.
Thinking about doing a renovation, but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run. Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the Intercounty Baseball League and the Barrie Baycats Baseball Club, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or retransmission in any form is strictly prohibited. Here's Matty Gale.
Talked to White earlier today, and he said he's looking forward to working alongside such a strong team for this 2-game stretch. It's not his usual role, but he's excited to be in the driver's seat.
Thank you, Maddie, and thank you for reminding us of that. I had long forgotten about that with all of the excitement of winning the championship and everything, but good to bring that back to our awareness. 3-2, the lead in favor of Toronto. This is Spencer Ross, the rookie third baseman. Pitch is low, ball 4, and Benitez walks the leadoff man here in the second.
So I was actually talking to Josh on Monday, and he reminded me of that because I had long forgotten as well, because there was a lot of discussion late in the season where he'd have to maybe serve those last 2 games during the playoffs, but he managed to get that, kind of redirected to the start of this season, and because tonight kind of a banner night for this team, he'll start that on Saturday against Welland.
So Dan Mara, the number 9 hitter, veteran second baseman, shows bunt, lays down a beauty to third. Odd picks it up, makes the throw. It's in time for the out. What a play by third baseman Adam Odd, who read that right off the bat.
You couldn't have asked for a better bunt if you're the Maple Leafs, but you couldn't have asked for a better defensive play in that situation if you're the Barrie Baycats. Odd played that perfectly, charged in, kind of barehanded it a little bit. Didn't go off balance with his throw, and right on the money to Nolan Macabrota. Great play.
Back to the top of the order we go. Ryan DeSantos, who barreled up a monster home run. Juan Benitez to lead off this ball game.
You know, we saw it a lot with Juan Benitez, you know, each of the last 2 years, to start the year at least. Kind of a slow starter. You might struggle in the first couple innings, and like I mentioned, this is a trend that we've seen quite a bit, but he'll really settle in, you know, once he gets to the late in the third or the fourth or fifth inning.
Benitez with a throw down, or Beltran, with a throw down to second to check on the runner, and a leaping Hernandez grabs that. Ross with speed at second base. Benitez deals. It's a called strike. Benitez not expected to go deep into this ball game. I was talking to Josh Matlow, and he'll get as many, would like to see as many innings as Benitez can give them tonight, but being the first game of the season, he's not going to ride that arm for too long.
It seems like the strategy is going to be similar to what we saw last year when Benitez started the season over against Toronto. They'll have him go 4 or 5, then Frank Garces will piggyback off him in the later innings. You know, they want to stretch out these starters' arms as quick as possible because they have tonight's game, they have Saturday's game in Welland, and they don't play again until next Thursday right here against Guelph. So that long layoff, you want to stretch these guys out as much as possible, and that goes for the entire starting rotation.
And Carlos Sano could be getting the start on Saturday in Welland as well, I understand. So if you're a Baycats fan and you're wondering about some of these new roles just for these first couple of games, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're going to be doing throughout the season. It's just a matter of getting all of those arms into some action as quickly as possible. Second walk of the inning. DeSantos aboard. And here's John Javier. If we do see Frank Garces at some point tonight in a relief appearance, that might be the only time we see him out of the bullpen this year. So another fire for Juan Benitez to put out here with 2 walks. Ross at second, DeSantos at first. Swing and a miss on a hard fastball to John Javier, the catcher.
Just 15 walks last year for Juan Benitez, and you know, again, I wouldn't put too much into this single inning for Juan, but definitely not a characteristic of his he'd like to continue.
Benitez wanted that call as he takes another long look in at home plate umpire. Chubave calling the balls and strikes tonight. And that one is low and away. I want to welcome viewers tonight on Baycats TV, the home of the Baycats on YouTube, and of course our usual viewers on Rogers TV in Barrie. And I'm sure we have Toronto fans enjoying the YouTube broadcast tonight as well. This one hit to center field straight away. Tristan Clark to his left makes the catch. And the runners bluff and stay put. Good throw in from Clark. Ross will stay at second. DeSantos at first, 2 out for Rando Moreno.
That looked like a perfect throw from Tristan Clark. Ross looked like he could have made it there, but Clark perfect on that arm.
Maple Leafs will play London Sunday, 2 p.m. Baycats and Welland on Saturday. And this is the season opener for the Baycats, but it's game number 2 for Toronto. They opened up at home on Mother's Day, Sunday afternoon, against the Kitchener Panthers. A game that featured new incoming pitcher Ayami Sato, the first professional women's baseball player in Canada, never mind the IBL. And she made her debut pitching 2 innings on Sunday afternoon in front of a packed crowd at Christie Pitts.
2 innings, 1 strikeout. Looked like it was a cruise through those first 2 innings for Sato. So when it comes time for her to finally take the mound here at Athletic Kulture Stadium, I'm going to be very excited for it.
Chubave seems to be calling a lot of those pitches on the inside part of the plate. You saw that one right there to Moreno. He thought it was in tight. Benitez got that call. Hasn't had some of the outside part of the plate, though. Like that one. So that's exactly what we're talking about.
Wonder if it's going to stay the same, specifically against Moreno when he starts to face Frank Garces later in this game, because he is a switch hitter, one of the very few across the IBL this season.
On the ground to first down the line, and it's foul. Count will hold it 1-2. Can often mess with a pitcher mentally when the umpire is calling one half of the plate and not the other a little more generously. And in this case, to the left-handed hitting Moreno, as Benitez got the call on the inside part of the plate but not the outside. But then you start to wonder when the right-hander comes to the plate, if it's going to be the same thing or if it's the opposite way. This one hit to left field, base hit. Scampering around third is Ross. He's going to force the throw. It's cut off. No play at the plate. 4-2 Toronto.
Absolutely perfect hit the opposite way for Rando Moreno, and Spencer Ross was rounding that third base like he knew he was going to score on that play. A good throw by Hayden Jaco out left, but Adam Odd cut it off. It seemed like there might have been an opportunity to make a play at home, but it would have been definitely close. But Spencer Ross scoring no problem.
Mentioned that debut for Ayami Sato for the Toronto Maple Leafs on Sunday afternoon. 2 innings of work. 3 innings, no hits, a strikeout. And I was listening to Thomas West on his outstanding Leafs podcast that he does, and he was commenting that it was probably the largest crowd at Christie Pitts he's ever seen.
Tons of media and cameras down that third base line near the Maple Leafs dugout. A lot of minor kids teams at the ballpark too. That was great to see.
Well, there to witness history, no doubt, and let's hope those fans keep coming. Nothing like a ball game at Christie Pitts with a nice, healthy crowd on hand sitting on the hill and up on the sidewalk, and it's just always a great buzz anytime we're there to enjoy a ball game.
And not to mention it was Mother's Day, so I'm sure a lot of families out at the ballpark at the same time too.
Beltran out for a visit with Benitez, and a 2-0 count here with 2 away.
They are going to count that as a mound visit.
Jordan Castaldo. 2 on, 2 out. Baycats down by 2. Here's the pitch from Benitez. Gets that one over. It's a called strike.
Of all the Baycats regular starters last year, Juan Benitez had the highest opponent's average and 290. All the other regular Baycats starters were well under 250.
The other fun feature of ball games at Christie Pitts, of course, is the Bushman down the left field line, and it was commented by some that they seemed a little more reserved than usual last season for whatever reason. And a lot of fans kind of hoping that they might find a little bit of extra energy here in 2025. Maybe that game on Sunday afternoon will help draw a little bit more involvement.
We got a mound visit here from Andrew White. Bases loaded now, and the Bushmen actually came out to Game 1 of the playoffs between these two teams at this ballpark.
That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was a lot of fun. I got to talk to them a little bit. They were telling me that specific game was their only road game of the season. They said it was a lot of trouble, coordinating everyone getting together for some road trips and different IBL parks. But I'm sure they're watching tonight, so definitely want to give them a huge shout out. Really hope to see them at Athletic Kulture Stadium soon, along with as they travel along with the Maple Leafs.
They usually have some creative heckling. It's always in good taste, but lots of fun, and they're into every pitch. So.
Tons of energy, which is great to see.
How do you become a member of the Bushmen? Is it an open fan club?
I'm sure there's some sort of initiation process.
We can only speculate on that. Well, even if you aren't an official member of the Bushmen, you can still sit with them and have a good time. That's the good thing about Christie Pitts. You sit anywhere.
Think of it like a supporter section at a soccer game.
Very good. Yeah, good comparison. This one on the ground to second. Hernandez to first. In time for the out. And the Baycats get the third out of the inning, and they are off the field, but not before Toronto strikes again. 4-2 Maple Leafs as we go to the bottom of the second. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV, Barrie.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May.
Second inning brought to you by JC Unlimited Contracting. Design, supply, build, renovate. Servicing Simcoe region for over a decade.
4 first-year Barrie Baycats in the lineup tonight, and this is the last one to make his debut at the plate. Catcher Lilis Beltran. The other 3, Francisco Hernandez, Willie Garcia, and Tristan Clark, all batted in the bottom of the first, and we're now in the bottom of the second, with Barrie trailing by 2.
Beltran, a switch hitting catcher, former New York Yankees prospect, got as high as some A-ball play.
Yeah, they signed him in November. Nice to add some depth to the catcher position. Tyler Plumpton, veteran Baycat, is back again in 2025. Hayden Jaco handled some catching duties last season, of course. But with the addition of Beltran, that gives them more flexibility with Jaco. Jaco is on deck. Left field tonight. 2-0 count. A high pop-up in front of the Toronto dugout. Foul territory, and making the catch is the third baseman, Spencer Ross, one away. And here comes the aforementioned Hayden Jaco. So the Maple Leafs lost 6-5 on opening day. They're looking for their first win here in their second game of this schedule. Baycats beat Toronto here on opening day last year. First pitch is outside to Jaco.
Jaco 281 in the regular season 2024, 4 homers, 25 RBIs. One of just 4 players in the IBL last year among qualified hitters that walked more than they struck out.
Former London Major. 2 championship rings to his name now, one with each organization.
He was Rookie of the Year in 2021, his first year with the Majors. Now his second year with the third year with the Baycats.
It's always gratifying to win a championship ring, but it might be maybe a little extra more fulfilling to win them with multiple organizations, just knowing the impact that you can make on more than one team. One-two pitch. Strike 3. Jaco taking all the way. He knew it. 2 quick outs here for Maple Leafs pitcher Josh Barenbaum.
You know, when Barenbaum needed that, seven batters faced in that bottom of the first inning, so not a great start. When you're on the mound, you see action already in your bullpen so early. It's not a great sight, but knowing he has to battle back, he's surely done that, at least so far here in the second.
Yeah, a clean inning would be good for him here and for his team. We're back to the top of the order for Francisco Hernandez. Broken bats, and the barrel goes flying against the backstop. And the throw to first is in time for the out. 3 quick outs for Josh Berenbaum. Toronto leads 4-2 after 2 here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers and go Baycats!
Join us this summer at the Baycats Summer Baseball Camp.
See you this summer.
A thrift store could change lives. Barrie Families Unite is making it happen. Essential needs support for those families in our community who need it most. Charity gives. Dignity empowers.
Back live at Athletic Kulture Stadium in Springwater Township. It's the Maple Leafs 4, the Baycats 2 here on opening day 2025. Juan Benitez back out for his 3rd inning of work. Marcus Connect will lead it off for the Maple Leafs.
Right fielder, number 4, Marcus Connect.
Lots of fun activities going on at the ballpark here tonight. We got a bubble machine to our right. We've got a selfie station with costumes and props and hats, and we've got, I think there's a radar gun as well. You can test the speed of your fastball if you like. And a very, very good crowd here on this beautiful Thursday night to kick off the 2025 season.
Yeah, lots of activations. Athletic Kulture, the new namesake of this ballpark, has provided a lot for their opening night, and they surely outdone themselves, I think.
Same familiar ballpark Baycats have played on for 25 years, but a brand new name and a new era for the stadium. And we look forward to many years of an ongoing partnership with them. Benitez with a 1-1 pitch, and it's lifted over the screen, foul.
Yeah, this is
1-2.
25th anniversary of the Barrie Baycats, well, 25th season of Barrie Baycats play, and we got a couple nice pins on our jackets today, which I think look pretty sharp.
Yeah, there's a 25th anniversary logo, and you may see that on some Baycats merch, pins. We've seen seat cushions, T-shirts, lots of different things that you can pick up to celebrate 25 years of Baycats baseball here in the IBL. Hard to believe. 2001, the inaugural season for this franchise.
Pretty crazy that it's been 25 years now and 8 championships in that 25-year span.
Pitch is low. 3-2 the count to Marcus Connect. Nick Owen, the first Baycats manager in that inaugural 2001 season that many in Barrie remember so well. Called strike 3 to Connect. Jeff Sharp managed the championship-winning 2005 Baycats, their first of 8 championships in their history so far. Pitcher Angus Roy would take over as manager after that. And the Baycats would win a string of championships, 6 in a row in the 2010 decade, and now a new era under manager Josh Matlow, and their first championship under him last year in 2024.
Talking to Ryan Rio last week, he says that the team from last year very much felt like the team that he was on for the last 3 of the 6 in a row.
Base hit to right field. Willie Garcia gloves that, and that took an interesting skip as well in the outfield. It was a higher hop than normal off that grass, and it was far enough in front of Garcia that it didn't affect his play on the ball at all, but that ball definitely came up with a little more English than usual.
Well, there are quite a few dry patches on this field. Hasn't been a lot of rain in this area for quite some time. At least I can't remember what day it rained last, but definitely the dryness of the field has made a few easy ground balls, some base hits, and put some stress on some of the outfielders as well.
I just heard the fans with the familiar, "What time is it?" Double play, double play, double play. That has become a defensive rallying cry in recent years for the Baycats, with a base runner on and fewer than 2 away.
Definitely feels great to be back at the ballpark. That's
Nobody yells that out. The fans just yell it on their own now. I love it. This is Spencer Ross. Ross expected to play a little bit of third base and shortstop this year. The departure of Jonathan Salazzo and Jose Vinicio on that left side of the infield.
A couple stars gone for the Maple Leafs, but they pick one up.
That could be 2. To second for 1. The relay to first in time. Hernandez to Macabrota. And it gets Benitez and the Baycats off the field. 4-2 Toronto. We go to the bottom of the third here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Third inning of play at Athletic Kulture Stadium, brought to you by Render 3D Quick, the #1 architectural 3D rendering company in Canada, working with thousands of builders, developers, architects, and more.
Hernandez, Garcia, and Rio are all due up for Barrie here in the bottom of the third inning. Then Davy, Julius, Hern, Matty Gale, opening night 2025. Baycats trail by a pair. And back out for his third inning is right-hander Josh Berenbaum, 25-year-old. Making his IBL debut here tonight. Mentioned how the Maple Leafs have a bit of a different look without Jonathan Salazzo and Jose Vinicio in the infield, and even over on the right side. We're told Jordan Castaldo was a little bit of a last-minute decision to rejoin the club this year in 2025 as well.
Yeah, Castaldo, 36 years old. I remember last year at the beginning of the season, there was questions there too, because at the time he was trained to be a firefighter, so a separate career kind of intersecting a little bit, maybe a little bit of overlap. You might not see Castaldo as much on a full-time basis for the Maple Leafs, but obviously a game against his former club is definitely one to put on the mark on the calendar.
There was a little bit of a sense last season around the midway point, or certainly after the All-Star break, that this team might have a much different look, depending on whether or not players were going to decide to return this season or not. But they got hot in the second half and got it together after a slow start.
Well, Dustin Richardson, now the GM of this club, 41 years old. There's he's now the GM, and he was telling me earlier today before the game that he's felt better coming into this IBL season than he has in any other IBL season before. So even as a GM with that extra role, like questions about how much he'll play, he says he's feeling great.
Yeah, there's a bit of a, I don't want to say old, but a bit of a regime that has been in Toronto, part of this roster for a long time. And Marek Deska, another one, 39-year-old pitcher, in his 15th IBL season, and these guys seem to keep coming back year after year, so as long as they want to play, they'll keep running it back with these guys.
Not to mention all three Mara brothers are back this year, all been staples with this Maple Leafs ball club for so many years.
So they've had to retool and fill in a few holes here and there, but for the most part, a good returning group year after year for the last several seasons in Toronto. Nice at bat by Brandon Hernandez, who draws a walk. Here comes Willie Garcia. Garcia singled, picked up his first RBI as a Baycat in the bottom of the first inning. Four runs, 6 hits for Toronto. 2 runs, 2 hits for Barrie. First pitch to Garcia is a called strike. Barenbaum at the belt. Checks the runner with a throw over. Brandon Hernandez with speed at first. Hernandez, 21 games for the Baycats last season. Gets a good lead. Taking is Garcia, and he evens the count at 1-1.
Just 3 stolen bases for Brandon Hernandez last year. Wasn't really attempting so much, and it didn't come over right away in the IBL season. Came mid-season to Barrie, but maybe a full season of IBL ball you can build some more confidence on.
This one hit deep to left field. It's back at the wall, and making the catch is the left fielder Ryan DeSantos. Quick throw in, and back to first is Brandon Hernandez. That sounded good off the bat of Willie Garcia.
And fans were in awe as soon as they saw the swing, the trajectory. It looked like it might have been gone off the bat, but slowed down a little bit as it gained, as it got towards the warning track, and Dos Santos an easy catch right in front of the wall.
Even though Brandon Hernandez only had 3 steals last season, he was tied for second on the Baycats. Several players had 3 steals, but Canisijo by far and away the leader in stolen bases, 17 steals in 21 attempts. And nice to see Canisius here at the ballpark getting his championship ring. The pregame introductions, not dressed, not in the lineup tonight, but being awarded his championship ring.
Yep, Roy Sando as well. Good to see him come back and get the, both of those players getting the introductions from Rob Daniels.
A good majority of these players got their rings in December, actually, right before Christmas, which was really nice timing at the Barrie 5 Points Theater for the premiere, the debut screening of Diamonds in the Rough, the official documentary of the 2024 Barrie Baycats championship season, with a specific focus on the finals against the Guelph Royals. A really well done video with Dylan Quinn, and I know you contributed to that as well, Julius, and definitely recommend watching that on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet on our Baycats TV channel. So a lot of these players got their rings right before the showing of that film. Runner goes, pitches outside, good throw. It's in time for the out. John Javier with an absolute missile. And Hernandez is caught stealing.
A very late jump from Brandon Hernandez there, and as much as the throw from Javier was a little bit toward the shortstop side at second base, they're in plenty of time for Moreno to reach over and make the tag on Hernandez.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of pitch outs in the IBL anymore, but that ball was outside and in the perfect position for Javier to get a good, strong throw without having to worry about throwing over top of the batter.
Yeah, Hernandez definitely has the speed, but definitely a late jump off of first base.
Ryan Rio waits for the 3-1. A high pop-up on the outfield grass. Shortstop Randy Moreno calling for it, makes the catch. And that'll do it for the Baycats. Toronto off the field as Barrie goes 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the third inning. 4-2 Toronto at Athletic Kulture Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run.
Top of the fourth inning, opening night 2025. Baycats trail Toronto by a score of 4-2. Let's check in with Maddie Gill.
As Julius was saying earlier, Toronto's GM, Dustin Richardson, brings more than just back-end experience. He brings innings. A former MLB and IBL pitcher, he's now leading the Leafs from both sides of the game, as he's also in the bullpen tonight. What makes this role special to him? He told me it's the emotional connection. He knows what it's like to be in that clubhouse, and that drives his approach. He's focused on transparency and building a team of guys who are genuinely excited to be here. Not just talented, but invested.
Thank you, Maddie. I asked manager Rob Butler before the game, what's it like having your GM on the field? You're managing your general manager. It's kind of an unusual situation, but Dustin feels as good as he has felt. He said that at the start of the year here at 2025, he feels as good as he's felt probably since his rookie season, physically. Hit weakly to the mound, Benitez, bare hands, throws, and just missed. The ball looked like it skipped. Macabrota caught that ball, and it looked like maybe it kind of hit the bare part of his hand. Not in time. Runner is aboard.
Yeah, he seems to be okay. Just a little bit of a stinger there on his hand.
I have to ask Macabrota after the game what happened there. He looked like he was kind of wringing out that forearm. Good job by Benitez to get that throw down in a hurry. The runner is aboard. That'll be an infield hit.
7 hits already for these Maple Leafs through 3+ innings off of Benitez. Haven't seen Frank Garces or anybody start to warm up in the Baycats bullpen just yet.
Juan Benitez got a huge double play off the bat of Spencer Ross to get out of the third inning, a clean third inning after struggling through 2. Maple Leafs getting 3 off him in the first and a run in the second. Benitez looks in, and he deals. Inside part of the plate for a called strike.
You can tell Benitez, his delivery shortens up when he's pitching out of the stretch with runners on. That very much looks abbreviated, but obviously comfortable for him in these tight situations.
And again, a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. If I was Benitez, I would just keep pounding that inside part of the plate as long as you're going to get those calls from the home plate umpire. He was frustrated earlier in the game when he wasn't getting the outside called strike, definitely getting them on the other half. Well, Dustin Richardson has had a history of back and knee and oblique problems, and really feeling optimistic here in 2025. He's been in this league for a long time and maybe feeling like this could be one of his best seasons ever. To short, nice play. To second for one, to first, not in time. So Hernandez to Hernandez. And they force out Dan Mara.
Well, that play was made by Brandon Hernandez at shortstop there, and it looked like it was going to be a tough play for him charging in on that roller because of how dry the field has shown to be throughout this game so far. But that pick really made that force out play at second base.
First pitch strike to John Javier. Hit a triple, scored in the first. Here's the pitch. Hit on the ground to short. Another short hop for Brandon Hernandez. High throw off the bag as Macabrota tried to get the tag down. Couldn't do so. Nice play by Brandon on the short hop. Knew he didn't have much time, and he got that throw over quickly.
Yeah, was scored an error on Brandon Hernandez, first for either team in this ball game. Again, another play where it seemed like the way he was charging in, that ball was going to make the play, but a bit off balance on that throw. It took Nolan Macabrota off the bag far enough where he couldn't reach back and make a tag.
Always hate to give an error on an infielder on a tough play like that. He played the short hop well and just uncorked a bad throw. Benitez gets ahead of Rando Moreno, 0-1. Here's the pitch. Called strike. No balls, 2 strikes to Moreno. Benitez looks in, checks the runner, kicks, steals. And it's a little flare to left field, and a nice catch by Hayden Jaco. Runners stay put. 2 outs now for Benitez.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. We don't see Hayden Jaco in the outfield very often, let alone left field. He's one of the most versatile players in the IBL. We even saw him pitch, in a few crucial outings last year late in the season. So for a guy that not really expecting to see all that much just based off of his schedule, he's providing some great value no matter where Josh Matlow puts him on the field.
It'll be interesting to see who kind of goes in and out of that left field spot this season. We saw Nolan Macabrota in left field late in the year last season.
I'm assuming we're going to start to see more of that, especially if when Malik Williams comes back and enters this lineup.
Malik Williams played a lot of first base. That gives you the option to put Macabrota in the outfield.
Yeah, we saw him also a couple appearances at third base and left field, Malik Williams, but definitely more suited to be a designated hitter or a first baseman.
Typical night so far for Jordan Castaldo. He's reached base twice. Leans away from that pitch, but it's a called strike, 1-1. Waggles the bat. Benitez deals, and that one fouled away left side. 7 hits for this Toronto lineup so far.
You mentioned Castaldo, typical night for him. Let's go back to last season. He had the longest on-base streak in the IBL last year, 37 games. That included an on-base percentage of .420 in that stretch. Began opening night and got all the way to the 9th of August.
This one gets away from Beltran, and he's on it quickly, and he looks the runners back. Well, Baycat fans are well familiar with outstanding numbers like those, which Jordan put up year after year as a member of the Barrie Baycats. Seems like a long time ago now, but he was such an integral part of this franchise. Real cornerstone here in Barrie for so many years. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Do see some action in the Toronto bullpen. It's Wilhenis Alvarado, the left-hander.
Fly ball, left field, foul territory, and it will fall foul. And the at-bat will continue. Well, Alvarez, a pitcher that has been used quite a bit as a starter for the Maple Leafs, so Toronto, much like Barrie, maybe thinking about getting some of these starting pitchers relief innings just to get them going early in the year. Low and inside, and it's a full count now to Jordan Castaldo. This is a guy who knows how to work the count full as well as any of them. We'll see what he gets here on the 3-2 from Juan Benitez. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. It's a strikeout brought to you by IMP North. And that will do it as the Baycats are off the field. Maple Leafs strand a couple here in the top of the 4th inning. Barrie coming to bat, trailing by 2. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May.
Fourth inning of play is brought to you by Vintage Throne Barber Lounge, redefining gentlemen one community at a time.
Nolan Macabrota, Tristan Clark, and Adam Odd all due up here to face Toronto's second pitcher of the night. It'll be Wilhenis Alvarado.
Yeah, Wilhenis Alvarado, the left-hander. He went 10 starts last year, 16 appearances overall, pitched to a 6.75 ERA, which is not typical for him, a guy that was the pitcher of the year in the IBL in 2023. But the Leafs obviously looking for a bounce-back performance for him all season long. The Venezuelan left-hander.
Lefty here. And the first pitch down in the zone to Nolan Macabrota. Good to have Vintage Throne Barber Lounge sponsoring our 4th innings this season, and nice to see our friends from VTBL here for the season opener for 2025, Daniel and Sabrina. Sabrina sitting just to our left, and Daniel, I understand, was here earlier.
You were saying you're due for a visit.
Yeah, pretty soon. Pretty soon. I've been putting it off. Usually I get a preseason trim, and I missed it this year, so.
I got one just before media night, so I got it in right before the headshots.
You look great. Now, do you get the beard done as well? Or just
I used to. I've been starting to do it on my own, but they do a great job there no matter what, so they're definitely my regular barbershop, that's for sure.
Claudio did my beard last time, and I was telling him I wanted to maybe try something a little bit different, and he was saying, grow it out a little bit longer, Not like Brad Grieveson long or anything like that, but he just said give it a little more texture, a little more depth, and then just kind of Sometimes it's hard to let it just keep
Yeah,
growing.
I'm not
you
sure
always
if-
want to trim it and even it out on your own. At least I do.
I'm not sure if you'd be able to pull off Brad's beard. No offense.
Not quite.
It seems like he's one of a kind.
It wouldn't look like Brad's, that's for sure. Best beard in the IBL. 4-2 Toronto. Macabroda with a 3-2 count against Wilhennis Alvarado.
And Macabroda went 2 for 6 last year against Wilhennis Alvarado.
Kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Macabroda down swinging, one away.
Yeah, it definitely looked like the slider there from Wilhennis Alvarado, a pitch that doesn't mix in a whole lot, but it's definitely that in a tight count like that. Yes, 3-2, but it's definitely that 2-strike pitch that he'll use against those left-handed hitters.
So a really nice IBL debut tonight for Josh Berenbaum, the 25-year-old right-handed rookie who allows just 2 runs on a pair of hits. And he struck out 4 tonight, including a pair, bookends in the first, and 1 in the second. 3 strikeouts, I guess.
Yeah,
and
3 strikeouts for Berenbaum.
And 3 innings of work. Limited Barrie's damage in that first inning to just 2 runs and settled down nicely with a couple of shutout innings after that. Foul ball here off the bat of Tristan Clark, 0-2.
Yeah, and just 1 walk for Berenbaum as well, so really keeping the free bases to a minimum in his first IBL appearance. And for Rob Butler, that's definitely going to be encouraging. Possibly seeing him in the starting rotation for the coming weeks. Only 3 innings, but it's about that time of the year where, like we mentioned with Juan Benitez and Frank Garces, that strategy, you're going to stretch out your starters the first week or so of the season. Berenbaum, I think, has earned a couple more starts.
You put Berenbaum, number 2 maybe, behind Ayami Sato in this Toronto pitching rotation, and then perhaps this guy is the number 3, Wilhennis Alvarado, who can definitely give you some deep innings. Pitching looks pretty good for Toronto this season. 2-2 the count. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Alvarado. Baycats quiet here in the 4th inning, and now Adam Odd will bat with 2 away.
Third baseman number 26.
Yeah, it looks like another slider, that one going inside on Tristan Clark. So those breaking pitches for the Baycats, yes, it's their first game. They're going to have to catch up to that game rhythm, especially if they want to come back in this one down 4-2.
First pitch strike, inside corner to Adam Odd. If you're just joining us, the consecutive completed inning streak of never trailing came to an end early tonight. Toronto getting 3 runs in the top of the first. Barrie coming back with 2, but ultimately trailing 3-2 after 1. And that ended that streak at 95 straight innings through the 2024 end of the regular season and, of course, the playoffs as well. So the streak is history, but it will be talked about for a long time here in Barrie. And how about that? 3 strikeouts. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Macabroda, Clark, and Odd all down. And a clean inning for Wilhennis Alvarado. And through 4, Toronto still leads 4-2. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers and go Baycats!
What if a thrift store could change lives? Barrie Families Unite is making it happen. Essential needs support for those families in our community who need it most. Charity gives. Dignity empowers.
Join us this summer at the Baycats Summer Baseball Camp.
See you this summer. Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run.
Top of the fifth inning at Athletic Kulture Stadium. The Maple Leafs lead the Baycats 4-2. Julius, Hern, Ben, Davy, Matty, Gale, and our entire Baycats TV crew welcoming you back to another season of IBL Baseball 2025. The defending champs down by 2 runs to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The new pitcher on the mound for Barrie is playoff MVP Frank Garces.
And what a playoff it was for the Baycats. Dominican left-hander. 4 games, all of them starts. And a perfect 3-0 record. And listen to this, 32 strikeouts, just 6 walks in the postseason for Barrie in 2024.
And that one called a strike. The leadoff hitter in this inning is Justin Mara. Then it'll be Marcus Connect and Dennis DeBanning. 5, 6, 7 in the Maple Leafs order. Another one just inside off the plate. It's 2-1.
Speaking with Baycat manager Josh Matlow before the game, and this isn't a surprise to see Frank Garces in a relief role here on opening night, as we've said, just to get as many of these starters work early in the season. And Frank, of course, will return to his normal spot in the Baycat pitching staff as a starter throughout the season.
He went 5 innings in the season opener last year against these Maple Leafs, ended up getting the win. Baycats came back to win that game. There's a line shot into right center field. It's going to get down. Willie Garcia after it. Rounding first and heading to second is Mara. He'll get there standing up. So a leadoff double for Justin Mara. Maple Leafs looking to add on here in the top of the 5th against Frank Garces.
I know Baycats fans are anxious to see the arm strength of former big leaguer Willie Garcia in right field. Took him a while to get to that ball, though, as it was laying against the base of the fence.
Second hit of the game for Justin Mara. That one a double. Here's Marcus Connect looking for his first hit of the ball game. Had the RBI ground out in the first. That being the 3rd run of the game for Toronto. So Frank Garces pressured early, a runner on second base. Nobody out. First pitch to Connect. Broken bat, grounder to shortstop. Hernandez to Hernandez. Try at second base, not in time. Connect will reach at first. They looked like they had an opportunity to get the leading Mara at second, so trying to go a little behind the back there. It doesn't work out, so now 2-on with nobody out.
Well, an interesting decision there by Hernandez. Brandon going to his brother Francisco at second. A situation there where the tag needs to be applied for the out at second base. That was not a forced situation. So it wasn't a case of just doubling him off or anything like that. And getting back safely is Mara, so creates a 2-on, nobody out situation here for Frank Garces.
Now a double play is in order. Still nobody out. This is Dennis DeBanning. Big cut and a miss, strike 1.
9 hits for Toronto now in this ball game.
So Connect officially reaching on the fielder's choice. DeBanning singled in the 3rd inning, struck out in the 1st. That one right down the middle, strike 2.
Well, one exciting off-season development for Toronto Maple Leafs fans, but also for Barrie Baycats fans who are Toronto Blue Jays fans. The Maple Leafs announced the addition of former Blue Jays manager Cito Gaston to the staff this season as an off-field advisor / consultant. Not really sure what his exact role is going to be with the team this year, but the Leafs excited about adding Cito's knowledge and reputation to the club this season.
Yeah, and not to mention former Maple Leafs pitcher Sam Green, now an assistant pitching coach with the Toronto Blue Jays this year, getting promoted from an analyst role that he had in the front office previous couple years.
So the Leafs gain one from the Blue Jays and they lose one to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, it'll be exciting to see how many games Cito gets to around the IBL this year, whether it's at home at Christie Pitts or on the road as DeBanning strikes out.
I'm told we may see him at Christie Pitts for some games this season, so I don't expect he'll do much traveling with the team, if any, but wouldn't be surprised at all to see him around the ballpark there in Toronto.
Yeah, Cito, plenty of experience with the Maple Leafs manager Rod Butler. Cito managed him on that 1993 World Series team.
1993 and 1994 would be the years that Rob Butler would play for Cito Gaston. Now, a question for you, Julius Hern. Your baseball IQ always amazes me for a young guy in his early 20s, and your baseball knowledge from even before you were born always blows me away. Rob Butler had 2 stints with the Blue Jays, the 93-94 years, and then he returned to the Blue Jays in 1999. So he played for Cito Gaston for the first 2 years. Who was the Blue Jays manager in 1999 that Rob Butler played for? Let you sit on that for a while. And
I have an answer, but I don't think I'm correct. I'll sit on that for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll let our viewers think about it as well. In 1999, Blue Jays. They had some interesting uniforms.
They did.
That year, if I remember.
They were kind of rebranding from the pre-strike years.
Was that the bird with the maple leaf behind it? That logo?
Like, think of the Roger Clemens era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Clemens was, I think, 98 and 99.
97, 98.
Okay. Well, Butler returned to Toronto in 99. So Cito managed the Blue Jays.
He had 2 stints as well, not to mention.
His first stint was 89 to 97, and then he came back in 2008. Imagine that, 11 years later. That did not feel like 11 years, but it was 11 years between stints for Cito Gaston as Blue Jays manager.
3-1 to Ross right down the middle, and that brings the count full. Ross, a All-IBL second team last year, his rookie year with the Kitchener Panthers, moving over to Maple Leafs this year, hit well over 300 his rookie year. Double play still in order. 2-1 against Frank Garces. Justin Marr at second. Marcus Connect at first. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Caught on and missed. Strikeout brought to you by IMP North. The second of the inning for Garces. 2 down.
All right, I'll have to pin you down for an answer here since there's 2 outs in the inning, and I'm sure our viewers at home are wondering
I want to say it's Buck Martinez, but I think he was earlier in the 2000s.
That's a really good guess, Buck Martinez, because shortly after the turn of the century, Buck did manage the team for a season or 2. 1999 Blue Jays were managed by Jim Fregosi. And interestingly enough, Jim Fregosi, a former Philadelphia Phillies manager. Rob Butler played for the Phillies in 1997 before returning to Toronto in 99.
It's got to be an interesting dynamic when you go to a second major league team and the manager from your previous team is there as well.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So this is Dan Marr quickly down 0-2 here to Garces. Frank 1 strike away from striking out the side, stranding 2. Here's the 0-2. Up high, ball 1.
A lot of fans say, well, Cito didn't really have a whole lot of managing to do with those Blue Jays teams in 92 and 93. They were so loaded with talent, and that is true. Really, Cito wasn't a manager who was about rules, but he did have 2 rules. One of my favorite quotes from Cito Gaston, he said, as far as what he expected from his players, be prepared and be on time. Those were his only 2 rules.
Another strikeout for Frank Garces, brought to you by IMP North. He strikes out the side, strands 2 Maple Leafs. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-2 Toronto. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just Each, like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
Bottom 5 at Athletic Kulture Stadium. It's brought to you by One-Eyed Jack Barrie. Bring your same-day Baycats tickets before or after a game and get 10% off your bill.
We got a new third baseman for the Maple Leafs. It's Zach Lampreia, former Thornhill Red, and we were talking a lot about them last week, and along with manager Nolan Revin, who told us they were excited that Zach would be back with the Toronto club this season and another stint with the Maple Leafs.
Previously played with the Brantford Red Sox in 2022 and 23. Wilhelmus Alvarado back on the mound for Toronto. First pitch is low to Lelise Beltran.
Lampreia played for the Leafs in 2014. And he's now in the game at third base for Rob Butler and the Maple Leafs.
1-0 is inside 2-0. Both teams coming off back-to-back innings were striking out the side. Alvarado got Macabro, Clark, and Odd. 3 up, 3 down. And it'll be Beltran, Jaco, and back to the top of the order with Francisco Hernandez. As that went outside this time, so 3-0 count to Lelise Beltran.
Yeah, the last 6 outs of this ball game have been strikeouts. Toronto getting a couple of hits in the top half of the fifth, but Frank Garces with some nice pitching, striking 3 in a row out, stranding 2.
That one outside, a 4-pitch walk to start off the fifth for the Baycats. Lelise Beltran working the free base.
Left fielder number 55.
Beltran aboard for the first time as a Baycat. And here's Hayden Jaco for the second time tonight. He struck out swinging in the second inning.
Yeah, 6 total strikeouts as a team for the Baycats. Not the start they want to get off to, obviously. Not a team that struck out a whole lot, aside from a couple outliers in the roster last season.
Yeah, when Josh Matlow texted us the lineup earlier today, I looked at the bottom third of the order and I thought, my goodness, Adam Odd, Lelise Beltran, and Hayden Jaco, that's a pretty good 7, 8, 9, but they're a combined 0 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, this is just the 6th plate appearance for that bottom third. Let's get back to the top of the order. Francisco Hernandez, the new addition on deck. (1-0). That one called a strike, just catching the outside part of the plate. So after 5 consecutive balls, Alvarado back in the strike column. Keep an eye on Lelise Beltran at first base. We saw him steal a base in the exhibition game against Thornhill, and he might look like a bigger guy, but he has some speed at first. Very modest lead at the moment. Doesn't go. That pitch up and away on Jaco.
So if you and I go to a game at Christie Pitts this season and we see Cito Gaston there, are you going to ask for his autograph?
I don't think so. I'd like to meet him, obviously. I'm not much of an autograph person, to be honest.
Well, I'll tell you, I already have Cito Gaston's autograph, and I got it in 1984. That way predates
was that
you,
was
my
that
friend.
when he was playing with the Padres?
He was the hitting instructor for the Blue Jays under manager Bobby Cox.
Yeah, he was well past his playing career.
Yeah, took over for Cox in the managerial role a couple of seasons later. Jimmy Williams was in between Cox and Gaston. And yeah, I remember it well because it was my first ever big league ball game in July of 1984. And I had an autograph book, and I was 10 years old, and I was running around the Blue Jays parking lot just getting any player, any coach to sign my autograph book that I could find. And Cito Gaston was one of those names that I found in my autograph book when I went home. It was hard for me as a 10-year-old because I didn't recognize a lot of the players. You know, you saw them walk out to their cars. The public had full access to their parking area back in those days. I know that's hard to imagine now, but.
Who were the Blue Jays playing that day?
Kansas City Royals. And it was Charlie Liebrandt against Jim Clancy.
Wow.
And the Royals won the game 7-4.
That's a good matchup.
Yeah. Disappointing night for me as a Blue Jays fan, but.
Called strike 3. Jaco clearly thought that was a high ball.
He was a third of the way to first base. Had a quick word for Chubba Hay as he tosses his bat aside. Not the first hitter at the plate tonight to be a little frustrated with the strike zone.
We even saw Juan Benitez in his start. He was a little bit frustrated with home plate umpire Chubba Hay. But that'll be Jaco's second strikeout of the game, both looking.
Well, Benitez was frustrated, but then he started getting the inside part of the plate for called strikes. And Barenbaum did as well.
That one skips off of Javier, back to the screen. Beltran gets to second, no problem. So a wild pitch for Alvarado, who started out this inning very shaky. A 4-pitch walk to Luis Beltran, who now stands at second. And then had some trouble with that Jaco at bat. You could argue maybe got lucky with that third strike call.
I tell you who will want Cito Gaston's autograph if he sees him at Christie Pitts? Rob Daniels, our public address announcer, who is an autograph hound. Probably the only guy I know who has more autographs than I have.
Well, you and Rob went to a Dodgers-Tigers game last year, is that correct?
Yes, we did.
And he was very much at the rail near the third base dugout?
Rob had an entire duffel bag full of merchandise and paraphernalia that he was hoping to get signed, and I don't think, unfortunately, he came away with an autograph that afternoon, but we enjoyed a great day of baseball.
As a comeback Tigers win, if I remember correctly.
It was.
Zach McKinstry with the walk-off.
It was, and yeah, I forget who hit the walk-off now that I think about it. I know Colt Keith had a home run. That might have been the tying home run, but anyways.
I think it was Zach McKinstry.
You might be right.
Or
now, how do you remember that game better than I do?
I have no idea. Maybe I was paying attention to it more because you were there.
You're going to have to start coming with us. Rob almost got manager Dave Roberts' autograph, and Roberts looked right at Rob and just kind of kept on walking. I wasn't really sure what happened there. But he got his attention. He got Dave Roberts' attention, and then he just kept walking right past him. I'm like, come on, what are you doing? You're not that busy. But, of course, everybody was there for Shohei, as were we. Rob is a huge Shohei Ohtani fan. I mean, who isn't?
Exactly.
Incredible. A once-in-a-generation player.
I've seen Ohtani play once. It was with the Angels in Toronto. He was pitching against Alek Manoah in Alek Manoah's rookie year.
Oh, your memory's amazing. Well, Rob probably already has Cito Gaston's autograph. I'll ask him after the game. But
Alvarado, 2-2 count to Francisco Hernandez. Beltran still standing at second base as time is called by Hernandez.
We're warning Cito if he's watching tonight, and he very well might be. We may be looking for autographs when we come to Christie Pitts.
Alvarado set for the 2-2 pitch, 1 out. Francisco Hernandez at the plate. The pitch. Outside, counts full.
Well, no point nibbling that outside edge. Chubba Hay calling the inside part of the plate tonight. If I was Alvarado, I would run a fastball right in here and try to get that third strike.
Other Hernandez brother on deck, Brandon. Full count, 1 out. Beltran at second. Alvarado's pitch is called strike 3. Another one in which the Baycat was about a third of the way towards first base, thinking it was a walk. Toronto, the beneficiary of 2 called strike 3s, 2 down.
Inner part of the plate, but that looked a little high as well. And Francisco thought he might get a called ball 4 on either quadrant of the strike zone there. And Chubave rang him up. So what do we got now? 6, 7, 8. 8 consecutive outs as strikeouts here from the two sides.
First pitch to Brandon Hernandez low, and that's the second time Francisco Hernandez has been caught looking today. 0 for 3 in his Baycats debut.
Yeah, rough night for Francisco so far. He's excited to be in Barrie. We talked to him in front of the Barrie dugout before the game tonight, and he's really happy to be here. Not only to join this championship ball club, but to get a chance to play alongside his brother as well.
Matty Gale will have more on the Hernandez brothers in the top of the 6th inning. But you can tell just how cheery he was, and Brandon's very much the same way. Both guys seem to be the energy, no matter if the Baycats are winning or losing. They always seem to have a smile on their face in the dugout.
Brother combinations are always fun to watch, and of course Rob and Rich Butler brothers, who both played for the Toronto Blue Jays. Think of Billy and Cal Ripken for the Baltimore Orioles.
Check swing, call down to third base umpire Ryan Jackson. Hernandez did not go, so 3-0 count to Hernandez. Beltran still at second, moved up on the wild pitch. Called strike. Another one where Hernandez thought that was going to be a free base. Fans here getting restless about home plate umpire Chubave's calls.
Yeah, and some of these players might want to be a little bit careful. Chuba's been very patient with some of the reactions, shall we say, at home plate. Of course, we're not privy to any words that are spoken down there at field level, but clearly a lot of frustrated players on both sides.
3-1, fouled away. Just like that, a full count after Hernandez thought he had a free base.
It's been a long time since I can remember 3 straight half innings that were 3 strikeouts each. And we're a strike away from having that happen here.
Are you of the opinion that it's you have to strike out all 3 batters in an inning to strike out the side, or does it matter what happens in the inning aside from those 3 strikeouts?
Well, you can strike out the side facing more than 3 batters, but obviously it's not a 3-up, 3-down inning, right?
Another one fouled away by Hernandez. I see a lot of opinion, of course, online of people saying it has to be 3 strikeouts in a row and all 3 up, 3 down for someone to say you struck out the side.
Well, who decided that, though? That sounds kind of arbitrary.
I agree. I think no matter what, even if you give up 4 runs in the inning, if you strike out all 3 outs.
Why not say, well, all 3 pitches have to be strikes?
Exactly.
Well, make it an immaculate inning. To me, strike out the side has always kind of meant the 3 outs were strikeouts.
I agree. Swing and a miss by Hernandez, so Alvarado does strike out the side for the 2nd consecutive inning. Baycats strand a runner at second. We head to the top of the 6th inning. Maple Leafs lead it 4-2. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run.
Top of the 6th inning at Athletic Kulture Stadium. Maple Leafs lead at 4-2. We're talking about the Hernandez brothers, who both batted in the latter bottom half of the 5th inning, and Matty Gale has more on those brothers.
Yeah, great story on the Baycats roster tonight. Francisco and Brandon Hernandez are brothers who began their pro journey together in the St. Louis Cardinals organization. Now, a few years later, they've reunited here in Barrie. Francisco brings leadership and experience, while Brandon adds speed and energy. Different league, but the same dream, and they're living it together on the same field once again.
Thank you very much, Maddie. And I was talking to them before the game as well. And Francisco was mentioning to me that he says it's very much like Little League in the sense that they've never played on the same team before, let alone in the same infield. So a key experience for them. There's a sacrifice bunt. Garces with a great barehanded play to throw out Ryan Dos Santos for the first out.
Well, we know Juan Benitez is one of the best fielding pitchers in the IBL. Frank Garces showing his stuff there, too, coming off the mound in a hurry, making a great throw. So that will break the streak of consecutive strikeout outs. You can tell we love streaks in this broadcast booth, don't we?
I think we bring them up a lot, and that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong.
9 consecutive strikeouts.
It's just crazy the little things that we pick up on. Because I remember last year there was a moment where there was, I think there was like 5 consecutive half innings where it went, the last out was a fly out to right field or something like that.
Yeah, just the symmetry of baseball is always interesting to watch.
So Beltran getting a little bit of medical attention, but he seems to be okay behind the plate. John Javier steps in. He tripled in his first at-bat of the game and has since flown out and reached on an error. So 1 out, an 0-1 count here to Javier from Garces. The pitch is just off the plate. No call from home plate umpire Chubave, but not nearly as much of a negative reaction from the hometown fans. 1-1. Big cut and a miss, low and away. It's 1-2. Let's go back on that Ryan Dos Santos at bat, or going for the bunt right off the hop. It kind of just shows what kind of a player he is. He's coming off a career year in 2024. Homered to lead off the ball game and has since walked, and showing that he can also play a little bit of small ball with a great bunt, but ends up getting thrown out. There's a rocket into left field on the ground, and it's a base hit for Javier, his second of the game.
Well, a hot skip off that dirt and another high one. We see that ball really jumping off the infield and outfield grass tonight.
The shortstop, number 17, Randall
Adam
Moreno.
Odd laying all out for that ball, but unable to come up with it.
It didn't seem like he was going to have a shot, how hard that ball was hit. Second hit off of Garces tonight. There's popped up off the bat of Randall Moreno. It's playable in the infield. Francisco Hernandez makes the catch, 2 down.
So I was taking a look at some brother combinations around Major League Baseball. We're talking about Francisco and Brandon, the middle infield brother duo for Barrie here in 2025. And interesting story, last year, somehow this escaped my attention, the Cleveland Guardians with the brother combo of Josh and Bo Naylor. I had never heard of Bo Naylor before, but Josh Naylor, of course. Yes, both Canadians. And they made history last year by both hitting home runs in the same inning. That was on a game on April 10th, which was, are you ready for this? National Siblings Day.
That's crazy.
You can't make that up.
And their younger brother, Miles, so all three are from Mississauga. The
Oh.
younger brother, Miles, was drafted in the first round a couple years ago by the Athletics.
I didn't realize there were 3 of them.
There are.
That's pretty amazing.
And Miles Naylor, first-round draft pick out of high school. 0-1 is outside to Jordan Castaldo. 1 for 2 today, a double and a strikeout. Walked in the second.
I think maybe my favorite brother combo would be Sandy Alomar and Roberto Alomar.
Yep.
But
Played
I'm
together
trying,
on the Indians.
I think they were with Cleveland as well
Yeah,
at the same time. So it's another legendary brother
Were
duo.
they also together on the Orioles too?
Robbie was. Did Sandy play for Baltimore?
I think Sandy played for Baltimore, but not at the same time.
Yeah,
I could be
I
wrong,
think you might be right. We'll do a quick check on Baseball Reference after the game.
but I know both players were on that '97 AL champion Indians team.
The YouTube chat is lighting up right now, I'm sure, with everybody who's Googling that for us.
Yeah, I feel like I'm probably almost right. We'll see what the chat
Yeah.
delivers.
It's always fulfilling when you're almost right. It's the next best thing to being wrong.
Close but
Being
no
almost
cigar.
right.
Close but no cigar.
Love those broadcasters. They're always almost right.
2-2, 2 outs. Jordan Castaldo trying to avoid his second strikeout of the ball game. Pitch from Garces. Ground ball past Macabroda at first and into right field. Second base hit of the game for Castaldo, and they'll extend this 6th inning.
Well, the Maple Leafs had 2 aboard in the 5th, and Frank got out of it with 3 straight strikeouts. And similar situation now, 2 out in the inning, though, but 2 on for the Maple Leafs as they look to add to this 4-2 lead. And a nice string of scoreless innings after Toronto scoring 4 in the opening 2 innings of this ball game.
Garces pitched 1 inning in that exhibition game on Saturday against Thornhill, and it nearly an immaculate inning, a 10-pitch, 3-strikeout inning. But today he struck out the side in the 5th, but he's now given up 3 hits. So obviously still getting up to game speed a little bit more than usual. His first pitch is called a strike to Justin Mara, who doubled off in the leadoff last inning.
Well, I know you love doing the Immaculate Grid, and I do too. I do it almost every morning with my coffee and toast, and it often tests your baseball knowledge as far as you have to pair off a player who played on 2 different teams. Identify a player who played for, say, the Orioles and the Indians or the Guardians, and then you gotta think of a guy that fits that box, and it always kind of stretches your brain as far as the history of some of these players.
Absolutely, and I notice they now have like the titles. So if someone had a batting title with this team, it's very interesting in that sense now too. They've added a lot more to it. 0-2, cut on and missed. A big strikeout brought to you by IMP North. Justin Mara goes down swinging to end the top of the 6th. But the Maple Leafs still lead this one by a score of 4-2. We head to the bottom half of the 6th. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV.
No runs, 2 hits, no errors.
Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
Sixth inning here at Athletic Kulture Stadium is brought to you by Moving.ca. Two small men with big hearts moving. Your original Canadian two-men movers. When you think two men, think with big hearts, your Canadian choice.
3-4-5 of the Baycats lineup to face Wilhennis Alvarado back on the mound for his third inning of work with the Maple Leafs. So Willie Garcia singled and scored at an RBI in the first inning and had a hard line out in the third. First pitch to him is low and in. A lot of power in the middle of this Baycats lineup, and Christian Lazar, a reliever on this Baycats team, back for another season, mentioned to me that this is a big team, and not necessarily in stature, which definitely is the case, but physically this is a big team, and Willie Garcia, Ryan Rio, Nolan Macabrota definitely embody that trait of this Baycats team.
Well, it may seem like a long time ago that Willie Garcia played in the big leagues 2017 with the Chicago White Sox, but still just 32 years old. Still has plenty of playing years ahead of him if he chooses to continue to play.
Played in the Atlantic League last year. .2-0 is high and away, so 3-0 here on Garcia. Wonder if he's going to get the green light. Had a couple hard hit balls earlier this game.
Those White Sox teams, 2016, 17, and 18, really look to be kind of rebuilding teams. Of course, that's a franchise that always seems to be rebuilding, but the 2019 White Sox looked really good. I remember right before the COVID-19 pandemic, that looked like a ball club that was definitely ready to compete with the big forces in the American League, and really, things just did not go their way after that.
Garcia works a 4-pitch walk, back-to-back innings. Starting off with a 4-pitch walk for Wilhennis Alvarado. Caught with the 2019 White Sox. The 2020 White Sox made the postseason, actually won a playoff series. That was the first time in the postseason since 2008, I believe. Ken Griffey Jr. was on that team.
Yep, that goes back a long ways.
First pitch to Ryan Rio. What if he broke his bat on that one? It's up the middle. Tough play for Moreno, trying for two, and he gets it. Great individual effort from Rando Moreno, turning to 6-3. So just like that, after the 4-pitch walk, 2 outs on the board for Alvarado, bring up Nolan Macabrota. Macabrota walked in the first, struck out in the fourth. First pitch is just a bit high.
Yeah, 2017 was a tough year for the rebuilding Chicago White Sox. Managed just 67 wins, 95 losses under manager Rick Renteria.
Another, that one's inside, plenty on Macabrota. Had to get out of the way of that one a little bit.
Willie got into 44 games that season, his lone season of big league baseball.
Played plenty of affiliated ball after that, but never got back to the big leagues. And now he's here trying to contribute on this Baycats team. 2-0, that one's plenty outside to Macabrota. So Alvarado a little bit all over the place in this at-bat, 3-0.
Yeah, great pitching by Alvarado so far. Coming on in relief in the fourth inning. 3 straight strikeouts. Walked a guy in the fifth and one in the sixth, but got him out on a double play.
3-0, he gets the green light and smokes it into center field. Macabrota extends the inning with his first hit of the game.
Well, the Baycats looking to string together some base runners here in these middle innings because they've really struggled against Alvarado. The left-hander so far is just wheeling and dealing here in this relief appearance.
I'll bring up Tristan Clark, put a charge into one in the first inning, ended up being a sacrifice fly, and struck out against Alvarado in the fourth. With the runner on, that one is popped up. Fair territory in the outfield, and it's going to be Marcus Connect making the catch to end the inning. Baycats threatened early, and a double play took a little bit of a threat away, but Maple Leafs still lead this one by a score of 4-2. Ben Davy back on the mic as we enter the 7th inning. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV.
For the Baycats in inning number 6, no run.
At 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers, and go Baycats!
What if a thrift store could change lives? Barrie Families Unite is making it happen. Essential needs support for those families in our community who need it most. Charity gives. Dignity empowers.
The 7th inning of play is presented by Psycho Solutions, full automotive service.
Ben Davy, Julius, Hern, and Matty Gale. We're at the newly named Athletic Kulture Stadium, home of the Barrie Baycats, and the home side trailing by a pair of runs. Both lineups have been quiet since the middle of the 2nd inning. Toronto jumping out to a 3-2 lead, 4-2 at the end of an inning and a half, and it's been straight goose eggs by both sides since. Frank Garces in a relief appearance here tonight for Juan Benitez. First pitch, swing and a miss to Marcus Connect.
Seems like the aces of these two ball clubs, that being Frank Garces now and Wilhelmus Alvarado, as soon as they came on the mound in relief, things started to tighten up.
Yeah, that was the plan for both managers tonight, clearly. Josh Matlow and Rob Butler putting starters in middle inning relief roles tonight. And it's worked out exactly as they planned. No balls, 2 strikes. Pitch to Connect. High fastball. And the at-bat will continue. One ball, 2 strikes. Garces with the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. It's a strikeout for IMP North. 1 down in the 7th.
Center fielder
5th already for Frank Garces, and obviously his strikeout stuff is working. Got hit around a little bit. He's given up 3 hits already, but still zeros on the board from his end.
Another stellar performance from the Baycat left-hander. Put together a 2.35 ERA last season. 12 appearances, 11 of them starts.
Juan Benitez earlier in this game started, went 4 innings, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 6 hits, and 4 earned runs.
Boy, if you love quality pitching, you've really enjoyed these middle innings from Wilhelmus Alvarado and Frank Garces. I expect that could be a starting matchup at some point in the season when these teams square off. They play 6 times in the regular season. Swing and a miss on the 1-1.
And Alvarado's already got 6 strikeouts through 3 innings, only allowed 1 hit and 2 walks. Was the benefit, or got the benefit of a nice double play made by Rando Moreno in the 6th.
Dennis DeBanning homered in his first game as a Maple Leaf at Christie Pitts on Sunday afternoon. Swings and lines that one down the third base side. Foul.
He went the other way with it too, and well over that. That kind of a couple years ago they raised that right field wall at Christie Pitts, making it harder for for balls to get out there, especially a shorter distance out and right.
Yeah, they think he's going to be a really great fit in that ballpark.
And he played great with Hamilton the last couple seasons.
You play half your season with that as your home ballpark, you're going to hit some long balls. 1-2 inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's 1 for 3 already tonight, 2 strikeouts, one of them against Garces.
Well, that fastball from Garces is really popping hard into the mid of Baycat catcher. Here's the pitch, and another one, fastball. That on the outside part of the plate, strike 3. It's brought to you by IMP North. A pair of strikeouts for Frank Garces. 2 down here in the 7th.
Make it 6 total already for Frank as Zach Lamprey look at his first at-bat.
Baycats catcher Luis Beltran has had a great game behind the plate. Working with Juan Benitez and Frank Garces here tonight. Framing pitches well. He does not get that call. Well, that outside part of the plate has just not been part of Chepave's strike zone this evening. They go inside, and they don't get that one. 2-0. The art of framing pitches is something that can take years to develop, and Luis Beltran, as you've seen here tonight, has done it as well as anyone.
Yeah, plenty of experience. Obviously, we mentioned he's a former New York Yankees prospect, so getting the benefit of some professional experience framing pitches, that goes a long way.
There's a called strike, 2-2. Really amazes me the amount of movement that you see from the catcher's mitt. When you watch a major league game, for instance, and you see that box on the screen, and you see how much the catcher moves the mitt into position to try to get that called strike. And it's often how often they get it. They can pull a ball right back into the strike zone and get the call. Strike 3. 3 strikeouts for Frank Garces, brought to you by IMP North. And that will do it for Toronto in the top of the 7th. Time for the 7th inning stretch here at Athletic Kulture Stadium with the Baycats trailing by 2. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Friends from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Seventh inning of play brought to you by Psycho Solutions. Full automotive service from headlight to tailpipe.
Sebastian Rodriguez into this game for Toronto, and Adam Oz steps up to the plate for the Barrie Baycats. Some work to do. They trail by 2 here in this bottom of the 7th inning.
Sebastian Rodriguez was also the 3rd pitcher for the Maple Leafs in their home opener on Sunday. Went 1 inning, allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs, had a strikeout. So this obviously looking to be a bounce-back performance from him after a disappointing one on Sunday.
Fans enjoying Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and a traditional favorite now, Heave Away. The 7th inning stretch at Athletic Kulture Stadium. Rodriguez, tall right-hander. Against the lefty Adam Odd. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike. Really amazing how a ball club can not trail for 95 consecutive innings and have now trailed for 6 straight innings. Since the first inning, and Toronto with a 3-2 lead after 1. Barrie really struggling for offense since. Straightaway center field. Dave Benning has it all the way, 1 down. Let's hope this isn't the start of another streak.
Well, we've seen a couple comeback wins from the Barrie Baycats in the previous season openers against the Maple Leafs, so for the fans sticking around the ballpark tonight, they're hoping to see more of the same.
Yeah, the one thing the Baycats have shown these fans is that it's never a good idea to leave early in a ball game, especially if Barrie's within a couple of runs.
Exhibit A, Game 1 of the IBL Finals.
Ryan Rio had a really big opening day walk-off hit. I think it was 2023?
Yep.
Or 22?
That was the first regular season game we called it together.
That's right,
yeah.
Yep. And then I think James Anderson had a walk-off hit the year before that. I could be wrong. I know Toronto, Barrie has a pretty good record against Toronto on opening day, especially with late inning wins. Usually low scoring. Low scoring in this park, and a high scoring game at Christie Pitts is the norm. 4-2 here for Toronto. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike. Luis Beltran, the new Baycat, wearing number 29. Still doesn't have his name on that jersey yet.
Well, the statistics from 2024 not in the Baycats' favor when they're trailing after 6, just 2-8. Meanwhile, the Maple Leafs 9-2 when winning or leading after 6 innings.
Barrie was 2-8 last year when trailing after 6. Wow, that is a rare negative stat for Barrie in that 2024 season, despite a remarkable year.
A lot of their wins, they were ahead plenty early and stuck with it.
Straightaway center field, hit pretty deep. Dave Benning has a read on it, and he's got it for the outs. 2 down for Barrie here in the 7th. It's amazing because Barrie dominated in so many other statistical categories that you can pull up from that 2024 season, but that is an odd one there that the Baycats really struggled in. Hayden Jaco, the number 9 hitter and left fielder now. 2 strikeouts.
Well, the Maple Leafs up by 2 at the moment. They were 4-5 in 2-run games last year.
You look at this Barrie lineup and the envy of many fans around the league. What a play by the third baseman. Up with it. The throw is off the glove of Castaldo. And Jaco's going to scamper to second on the overthrow. But a great effort by Lamprey diving down that third base line.
I'm going to score that an infield hit from the part of Jaco and then an error on Zach Lamprey at third, because him being able to dive over and make that play right on that third base line, incredible effort. The throw looked like it might have had the steam to get there in time, but off the glove of Castaldo, you could argue the error could go to Castaldo as well.
Well, it'll be a single and an error on the throw. Yeah, I agree. The error will probably be on the throw from Lamprey. So officially, Toronto's first error of the game, and now it's back to the top of the order for Francisco Hernandez. Hate it when you see a defender make a great defensive play. I said it earlier in the ballgame as well, and then make an error on the throw. That ball easily could have got by him.
Well, there'd be no better time now for Hernandez's first hit as a Baycat, because he's gone 0 for 3 so far with 2 strikeouts.
Bottom third of the Barrie order has reached base just twice. Luis Beltran with a walk, and Hayden Jaco with that single.
6 of the 9 in the starting lineup have reached base so far. Hernandez not one of them.
A lot of oohing and ahhing over this absolutely loaded Baycats lineup this season, and tonight's batting order specifically. But it's one thing to put the lineup together on paper. It's quite another thing to execute, and the Baycats have faced some really tough pitching here tonight from the Toronto Maple Leafs.
A lot of credit goes to Josh Berenbaum. A great outing, his first IBL appearance.
Weekly to third, Lamprey gloves it cleanly. Cross diamond throw in time for the out. That'll do it for Barrie as they strand a runner in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Toronto will take their 4-2 lead to the top of the 8th. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run. Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Baycats and Leafs head to the top of the 8th inning. Let's check in with our sideline reporter, Maddie Gale.
Yeah, there's plenty of familiar faces in this matchup. Toronto's Chris Nagorski and Mike Cicchetto both used to suit up for the Baycats, and they were on the other side of that playoff series last year. Meanwhile, Barry's Odd is a former Maple Leaf himself, though you've got to go back to the 2017 season for that connection. A little extra fuel in the rivalry tonight.
Thank you, Maddie. Dan Mara will start it off here for Toronto in the top of the 8th inning against left-hander Frank Garces, who came on in relief of Juan Benitez. We were told Chris Lazar might work some bridge innings tonight between Benitez and Garces, but manager Josh Matlow went straight to his left-hander in relief of Juan.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like very often we're going to see Lazar come in after Garces, just for the sake of platooning, because you're not going to see back-to-back left-handers, especially with how scarce they are in the IBL. But we are seeing Brad Grieveson warming up in the Barrie Baycats bullpen at the moment.
1 ball, 1 strike to Dan Mara.
We're seeing Adam Mara warming up in the Maple Leafs bullpen as well.
What a moment it was last September in Guelph, Game 4 of the IBL Championship Series, 9th inning. Manager Josh Matlow gave the ball to his trusted right-handed veteran reliever Brad Grieveson to get the final 3 outs of that ball game. Couldn't have drawn up that finish to Game 4 any better than that. Inside and a called strike, nodding his head is Mara. He wanted the call, started ahead to first, and then sort of nodded his head as if to say, yep, that's how it's been all night. I think everyone's of the understanding by this point in the game that that pitch is going to be called. Swing and a miss. Garces with an inside pitch again. Strikeout brought to you by IMP North. 5 straight strikeouts for Frank Garces.
Yeah, now 8 on the outing for Garces, and now his 4th inning of work. And I want to go back to what you were talking about earlier with Brad Grieveson pitching that final inning of the championship clincher. You know where that decision came from? Josh Matlow offered the final inning to Frank Garces, what would have been a complete game, but Frank said no and said you should put in Brad.
That's amazing. Wow. Well, that is just reflective of the unselfish attitude of that entire ball club last year and the team effort that everybody bought into, philosophy of winning. And ground ball to short. Hernandez with the throw. A quick one in time for the out as they beat the speedy Ryan DeSantos by a whisker. So that will break up the streak of 5 straight strikeouts for Frank Garces.
Speaking about streaks, there's another one. You know, Ryan DeSantos, a quick runner, led the Maple Leafs in stolen bases last year, aside from Jose Vinicio. But you know, that was a quick throw by Brandon Hernandez to get DeSantos, because he made that play that much tougher.
Well, the streak that is the story of the game tonight, 13 consecutive scoreless half innings. It's a 4-2 lead for Toronto, and that has held since the middle of the second. You enjoy great pitching. You picked a great ball game to come to tonight. Two teams loaded with offense, but the pitching has been the story. Garces, high and away.
Correct myself. DeSantos did lead the Maple Leafs in stolen bases last year with 18. It was 9 behind the IBL leader, Mateo Porcelato of the Dwellin Jackfish.
Gets to the point with Frank Garces sometimes that the level of dominance just seems to get ridiculous. Called strike 2-1 now.
A lot of that's amplified by the fact that he is a left-handed pitcher. And what I was talking about earlier, you know, they're hard to come by in this league, and Frank is a dime a dozen.
81 strikeouts last year, which is actually on the lower end of his strikeout career season totals.
And he's blowing the fastball by these Maple Leafs hitters in this inning. A big cut and a miss from Javier.
Yeah, he's dialed in. He's not holding anything back here in this top of the 8th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Good crowd still on hand here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. John Javier waits. Here's the pitch. Fouled back to the screen.
Every Maple Leafs hitter has struck out tonight except for the top 3 in the order. DeSantos, Javier, and Randall Moreno.
Fastball's been working for Garces tonight. Let's see if he goes back to it or tries to fool him with a breaking pitch. 2-2 the count. Beltran sets the target. Garces is ready. He deals. Fouled back to the screen.
Maple Leafs had 10 hits in the opener against Kitchener. They've already matched their total from that game already tonight.
Stranded a lot of runners. Here's the pitch on the way. High and in. 3 balls, 2 strikes now. A great at bat by John Javier. Rando Moreno on deck, hopeful for an at bat here in this top of the 8th. Garces with a full windup and the delivery. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for IMP North. Garces strikes out 2. It's a 3-up, 3-down top of the 8th. And Barrie will come to bat, trailing by 2 in the bottom of the inning. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
In inning number 8, we have no runs, no hits, no errors, and
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
What if a thrift store could change lives? Barrie Families Unite is making it happen. Essential needs support for those families in our community who need it most. Charity gives. Dignity empowers.
Eighth inning of play brought to you by United Way Simcoe Muskoka, making poverty unignorable. To learn how you can help, you can visit uwsimcoemuskoka.ca.
Baycats need to get some offense going at some point here tonight. After scoring 2 in the bottom of the first, they have been shut out by this Toronto Maple Leafs pitching staff tonight. Josh Barenbaum, the starter. Will Hennis Alvarado in relief of him. And now Sebastian Rodriguez back out here to work the bottom of the 8th inning. Brandon Hernandez, Willie Garcia, Ryan Rio all due up here in the bottom of the 8th against Rodriguez. Toronto on top 4-2. If you're just joining us, the Baycats' consecutive completed inning of never trailing streak ended quickly tonight in the first inning. And Toronto leading 3-2 after 1. As this one's flared to left field, that might drop, and it does! Right down the left field line. Hernandez is into second with a double. So despite that inning streak ending at 95 and now 7 consecutive innings of trailing, as you mentioned to me, Julius, off air, all that really matters is that you're ahead at the end of the game.
Exactly. If you're leading after the 9th inning, that's all that really matters. I know that Josh Matlow really liked, especially as a manager, you like the stat of not trailing after a certain amount of innings. Like it was 95 in a row until the first today. But I don't think the players carry that with them. And they just want to be able to string hits together. That's all that they're concerned about. And great start here with Brandon Hernandez in a double.
It was a fun stat, and it was a remarkable stat that fans will talk about for many, many years. But the goal tonight was not to keep that streak going. The goal tonight was to start 2025 off with a win.
Well, so remarkable that the players and coaches had that number 93 for the playoff innings engraved on their championship rings.
Well, it will be etched into history forever. Work to do here. Down by 2 runs. Runner in scoring position. Nobody out. Willie Garcia swings and hits a drive to center field. That'll stay in the park. Dennis DeBanning makes the catch. Tagging at second is Hernandez. Here's the throw. It's offline. Runner at third with 1 out, and Ryan Rio comes to the plate.
I think Hernandez got away with leaving early there. I'm surprised that they're not looking to appeal that call at second base, because it looked to me like Hernandez got a half-step advantage on the catch.
Well, if anybody in the Toronto dugout picked it up, they will throw to second before pitching to Ryan Rio here.
I wonder if that's what Randall Moreno's trying to convey to the coaching staff, but they're telling the infield to play back. They're not really concerned about the 1 run potentially at third base.
Nobody's heading over to second base right now, so if that was the case, it's escaped everyone. First pitch called strike to Ryan Rio. So you thought Hernandez got away with leaving early?
I think he did.
That'll give us something else to check on YouTube when we get home. Doesn't matter now. 0-1 to Rio, taking all the way, and it's high and outside. Ryan Rio has a history of coming through in clutch situations in big moments for the Baycats. Hit 6 taters last year, 13 RBIs. After a slow start, he got the average up to 254 by season's end. And he hits this one to right field. Base hit down the right field line. Rodriguez scores. Rio is going to try for 2. Here's the throw. It's not in time. RBI double for Ryan Rio. Barrie trails by a run in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Huge hit there from your big man Ryan Rio, just right down that right field line, and plenty far enough for him to wheel around and get to second base with a double. And we're going to see a pinch runner. It's James Anderson coming on for Ryan Rio.
Rio hit 3 doubles last season. He gets one on opening night in 2025. So Hernandez scoring makes it 4-3. Anderson represents the tying run at second base. Nolan Macabrota in a big spot here. 1 out, we're in the 8th. Macabrota has reached base twice tonight, singled and walked. Bookended around a strikeout.
There is action in that Maple Leafs bullpen. I see Dustin Richardson, I believe, warming up on that left side mound, the left-hander. Meanwhile, in the Baycats bullpen, we saw Brad Grieveson earlier, and now Chris Lazar is throwing as well.
Well, that's the great thing about when you're the GM and you're watching your team play. You can just, put yourself in the game. I guess you still got to get the manager's nod. But
very similar with Brad Grieveson, too, being the Baycats pitching coach.
That's true. Although the GM probably has a little more pull than the pitching coach, but never a bad thing when you can put yourself in the game. We saw Josh Matlow put himself in a game a couple of years ago here in left field. That's a moment that Baycat fans will remember for a long time.
And nearly had to do it again last year in Welland. The Baycats were really stretched thin with a couple of injuries that night, but came away with maybe a season-defining win.
Shallow fly ball left field, and it might be trouble, and it drops! Anderson had to hold it second. That ball landed in the Bermuda Triangle between third, short, and left. Lamprella, Dos Santos, and Moreno all converging on that ball. It was hit a mile high, but just in the worst possible spot for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, it seemed like right off the bat, Lamprella was getting spun around a little too much looking for that baseball. And kind of a tough play because he wasn't sure how far left he had to go and just missed making a basket catch by a few inches.
I'm not sure the other two guys would have been able to make a play on that. Dos Santos definitely wouldn't have.
No, they were playing Macabrota a bit too far up the middle, it looks like, for Randall Moreno's perspective as well, at shortstop.
So it creates a forced situation here with 1 out, so not necessarily a catastrophic development for the Maple Leafs. First base was open anyways. Macabrota, a pretty dangerous hitter. Now you have to face Tristan Clark. The double play is in order here with 1 away. Anderson and Macabrota, the base runners. Here's the pitch. It's a called strike. 0-2 quickly here to Tristan Clark.
Surprised with how hard Clark is swinging. He hasn't had a hit today. One of just a few Baycats left hitless so far. And surprised he took that one.
Showed amazing power here in the exhibition game against Thornhill, but regular season action is an entirely different animal. He has yet to reach base tonight. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Pitch on the way. Ground ball to third, foul. Into the sure hands of third base coach Andrew White. He'll tuck that in his pocket. Good crowd here tonight on opening night 2025. A late one here on this Thursday night. We had a delayed start with a pregame ceremony that went 27 minutes. Gives our evening crowd, the late commuters, maybe a chance to enjoy this final innings of this game. And a high fly ball, shallow center field. Who's going to call for this one? The center fielder, DeBanning, has it. Makes the catch, 2 down in the inning.
Yeah, not nearly far enough for Anderson to tag up like Hernandez did. Even if he were to get away with an early start like I think Hernandez did on his, but still one more chance for the Baycats to add on here, Adam Ott.
So if you missed that opening ceremony, it'll be part of the YouTube broadcast that's posted at the conclusion of tonight's game. You can go back and see the announcements of the players and the introductions. A nice pregame speech by Baycat manager Josh Matlow to the crowd, expressing his gratitude to the fans for their support in a remarkable year. And a pitching change now for the Maple Leafs, as they will go to the bullpen for their fourth pitcher here tonight. 2 out, and Barrie trailing by a run. We'll have more for you when we return. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie. Dustin Richardson on a pitch for the Maple Leafs. He'll face Adam Odd here in the 8th inning. 2 out, 2 on. Barrie has not led in this ball game. They trail 4-3. 1 so far here in the 8th.
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier. Dustin Richardson, the 41-year-old, now general manager of this Toronto Maple Leafs team. He appeared in 8 games last year, 7 2/3 innings. Didn't allow an earned run.
Leave it there. It's good.
Well, had a whip of 1.3.
Good first pitch fastball for a called strike to Odd, who's taking all the way.
Yeah, Barrie hitters went 2 for 7 against him with a double and 2 strikeouts last year. Big left-hander on the mound. You told us earlier, like we mentioned, he feels like this is the best he's felt health-wise, physically, since his time in the IBL.
Yeah, has a well-documented history of injury problems that has sidelined him more than he would like, for sure, throughout his career. But as you mentioned, he said he feels as good as he has felt at the start of a year since his rookie season. Well, if he has a good year at the age of 41, he can extend his own contract by another year. He wants a new baseball here.
Let's give it a line score here for Sebastian Rodriguez. Comes out of this inning, 2 1/3 innings, no strikeouts, no walks, allowing 4 hits, 1 earned run so far, responsible for the 2 on base.
Anderson at second, Macabroda at first. Both the responsibility of Sebastian Rodriguez.
Pardon me, 2 2/3 innings.
Leafs need a big out here. Adam Odd at the plate. It's a 1-1 count. Swing and a miss. So I guess that's not a mound visit, that last exchange there, because technically Richardson was asking for a new baseball. So he still got a quick word in with his catcher when he went down there.
Hey, take it where you can get it, right?
Sometimes you have to be a little creative with the mound visits. Not that it matters. They have 5 left. I'm sure they're not going to burn through those tonight. Odd fouls one away. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, Richardson grunting after that pitch. You can tell he was trying to put a lot into that off-speed pitch.
4-3 Toronto. We're in the 8th. The left-hander kicks and deals. Missed on that one, and the count is even. Yeah, those grunts and groans very reminiscent of Paul Spaljeric, another left-hander who played for both Toronto and Barrie, and you could really hear him.
Former major leaguer Paul Spaljeric.
Digging deep, very vocal on his pitch delivery.
Richardson, very much a two-pitch pitcher, fastball slider.
On the ground. And past the shortstop into left field. Rounding third is James Anderson. The throw is cut off. Barrie ties the game. 4-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. A big RBI single by Adamad to tie it up.
Well, to these Barrie fans, there's no more clutch hitter than Adamad. And that's getting the wave going in the ballpark.
Well, the wave here at Athletic Kulture Stadium doesn't last long because it basically goes from first to third, and then you got to do it again. The seating doesn't go too far down the lines here. Well, if you can get it from bullpen to bullpen, I guess that's the ultimate goal. But they started the wave like the section just above the dugout, so. On the ground to third. Lamprey gloves it cleanly, makes the throw. It's in time for the out. But not before the Baycats get a pair to tie this game at 4. Don't go anywhere. The stage is set for a dramatic finish here tonight as we head to the 9th. Tied at 4 on opening night 2025. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Join us this summer at the Baycats Summer Baseball Camp.
See you this summer.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend. The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers and go Baycats!
Thanks, Patty. Top of the 9th inning at Athletic Kulture Stadium, a 4-4 tie between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Barrie Baycats. Ben Davy, Julius Hern, Matty Gale with you. We welcome viewers across Rogers TV, Baycats TV on YouTube, including Toronto viewers watching our broadcast tonight on the Baycats TV channel as well. This game belongs to Frank Garces and Dustin Richardson. This 4-4 tie, Randy Moreno first pitch. Thinking about bunting, it's a called strike.
We saw double barrel action in the Baycats bullpen in the last couple half innings. But Frank Garces looks like he might take it to the end of the 9th.
Frank Garces has had a lot of wins as a starting pitcher for the Barrie Baycats. I'm trying to think of when his last relief win might have been. But
it was last year opening night.
You're right. Yeah. Benitez was the starter that night too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Won 5 innings, and Barrie won that game.
So Benitez Garces with 7 regular season wins, 6 of them as a starter and 1 out of the bullpen. 4-4 tie here. The Baycats will have to walk it off if they're going to get an opening night win here. 1-2. High pop up, shallow outfield. 3 Baycats converge on it. It'll be the center fielder, Tristan Clark, who takes that for the out.
Yeah, just 2 Maple Leafs hitters that haven't struck out tonight. Moreno, one of them, and Ryan Dos Santos, the other. But Jordan Castaldo hasn't struck out against Garces so far, at least.
Castaldo tosses the bat away and will step in here to face Frank Garces. Four runs, 10 hits for Toronto, 4 runs, 8 hits for Barrie. First pitch, fastball, called strike to Castaldo. A lot of veteran players still in this Toronto lineup, notwithstanding the losses of Jonathan Salazzo, Jose Vinicio, Pedro de los Santos. Still a good core group of guys with IBL experience remain. Swing and a miss. Castaldo couldn't catch up to it. It's 0-2. Quiet crowd here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. Swing and a miss by Castaldo. Well, that'll wake him up. 3 straight pitches. Down goes Castaldo. The strikeout brought to you by IMP North. 2 away here on the top of the 9th.
Designated hitter number 9.
It seemed like the crowd got so tense, kind of the quietness of the crowd built up to that moment.
Oh, an impressive remnant remains here on this Thursday night. School night for the kids, of course. The Friday heading into the long weekend. I think a lot of people just take that Friday off anyway. A lot of these folks might. 0-1 the count to Justin Mara. The veteran DHing tonight. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Garces dialing it up here in this 9th inning. Frank Garces looking to shut the door here in the top of the 9th. 0-2 pitch incoming. Called strike 3! And Garces with a fist bump as he looks heavenward and heads off to the Baycat dugout with handshakes and congratulations from his teammate. 3 up, 3 down. Go Toronto in the top of the 9th. Barrie looking to walk it off when we return. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Ninth inning of play, yet again brought to you by United Way Simcoe Muskoka, making poverty unignorable. To learn how you can help, you can visit uwsimcoemuskoka.ca.
Well, the Baycats have a long history of walk-off wins against the Toronto Maple Leafs and opening night walk-off wins against Toronto. And the stage is set for another big finish here tonight. 2025 season between the Baycats and the Maple Leafs. Hayden Jaco, the number 9 hitter, will lead it off against reliever Dustin Richardson. Who will be the hero tonight? First pitch from Richardson is a called strike.
Dustin Richardson only pitched 1 inning against the Baycats last season. Gave up 2 hits, had 3 strikeouts. Already going beyond the innings total from last season now.
Swing and a miss. Richardson really pounding that strike zone, getting ahead of Hayden Jaco, 0-2. Jaco 1 for 3 tonight. On deck, Baycat rookie Francisco Hernandez. He's looking for his first at bat, his first hit in 4 at bats. 0-2 from Richardson. High, 1-2. A reminder that the Baycats head to Welland tomorrow or Saturday for their first road game against the Welland Jackfish, and that'll be a hotly contested battle as always.
Yeah, and that'll be the Jackfish's first game of the 2025 season. Won the pennant each of the last 2.
Yeah, I think the Baycats were in Welland for Welland's championship ring ceremony last year.
That's correct.
This one flared over the second baseman and into right center field. It's a base hit for Jaco. He was thinking about 2, but the ball quickly picked up by Dennis Devanning. No chance for Jaco to take the extra base, despite the wide turn at first.
Yeah, he looked like he stumbled a little bit coming around first as well. I don't think he would have gotten there, but putting the pressure on the outfielders and definitely could lead to some mistakes by Toronto. But nonetheless, that'll give Francisco Hernandez a nice opportunity for his first IBL hit.
Francisco Hernandez has grounded out twice and struck out twice. Would love a big moment here in his Baycat debut. Shows bunt. Lays it down the first base side, picked up by Richardson. The underhand toss gets by Castaldo. He goes to second. Stopping at third is Jaco as the ball is fired in quickly from right field. So 2 on for the Baycats, still nobody out. Nice job by Marcus Connect to get that ball in a hurry and make sure Jaco could get no farther than third.
And that was scored an infield hit, so that will be Francisco Hernandez's first IBL hit, and what a moment for that to come, as much as it was maybe a little bit of defensive communication on the part of Richardson and Castaldo. Baycats are 90 feet away from a season opening win.
First base is open. Brandon Hernandez coming to the plate, still nobody out, so mound visit as the Leafs will converge and decide what kind of approach they want to take here.
And Brandon 2 for 3 tonight with 2 doubles, a walk, and a strikeout, so he's had himself a nice start to the season. Definitely a dangerous hitter, especially in this situation.
A lot of options for Brandon Hernandez here. A deep fly ball will win the game. You try to put the ball in play, maybe go to the right side. The Leafs defense has looked a little chaotic at times on weakly hit balls in the infield. Lots of opportunities here to get that winning run. Hayden Jaco in. He's 90 feet away at third base.
Brandon Hernandez 7 for 20 last season with a double and an RBI against left-handed pitching.
Pitch from Richardson. Swing and a miss. Brandon Hernandez trying to end it with one swing there. Couldn't catch up to the fastball. It's 0-1. Lefty-lefty matchup here.
Infield playing in. They're going to have to throw it home, cut down that run, nobody out.
Richardson's pitch. Called strike 2. And Hernandez now calls time as he wants to step out. Clear his mind a little bit here now with this 0-2 count. Willie Garcia on deck, James Anderson to follow. Baycats have never led in this game. They trailed 3-0 and 4-2. Knotted at 4 here in the bottom of the ninth. Richardson to Hernandez. High and away, and the count is 1-2.
Yeah, tried to tease him there with a fastball towards the outside part of the plate. Just got a little bit away from Dustin Richardson there.
Big moment here for Brandon Hernandez. Winning run at third, Hayden Jaco. Pitch from Richardson. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Second time that Hernandez has gone down swinging. A big out for Dustin Richardson. One away. Willie Garcia at the plate.
Fielder number 4, Willie Garcia.
Definitely a guy you want to pitch carefully. You know he's got power. They're just going to wave him down to first. They won't even give him a chance here to end this game.
Well, this will give an opportunity to James Anderson getting his first plate appearance of the day, and putting that double play in order is going to be key for the Maple Leafs. They can move their infield back now with a chance to get out of the inning off of one pitch.
Yeah, that is a smart move by the Leafs to set up that double play, and that's no disrespect to James Anderson at all. He's had his history of walk-off RBIs. Definitely a guy that can burn you here as well, but now Dustin Richardson can get the Leafs off the field with a ground ball. So Jaco at third, Francisco Hernandez at second, Willie Garcia at first. But all that matters is that winning run 90 feet away. Hayden Jaco at third base. Middle infield double play depth.
Anderson 8 for 28 last year in the regular season.
Swing and a miss. Anderson took a good cut, couldn't connect. It's 0-1. Randy Moreno and Dan Mara, the middle infield for Toronto. They will be ready for anything on the ground. Lamprey in just a couple of steps towards that grass, but shifted well to his left. Here's the pitch. It's a foul ball into the glove. Strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. A hush falls over the crowd at Athletic Kulture Stadium as Richardson looks in, kicks, and deals. Swung on and missed. What a strikeout for Dustin Richardson. 2 away in the bottom of the ninth. And the stage is set for Nolan Macabrota.
Nolan Macabrota.
The Saskatchewanian. Second year with the Barrie Baycats after an outstanding rookie campaign.
Second team all IBL last year. He had the hit to lead off. Excuse me, not to lead off, but against Richardson earlier in the ball game. Going the other way, he's 2 for 3 already.
Called strike, 0-1. And with 2 out in the inning, a deep fly ball may not necessarily get the job done here. You got to put that ball in play. Get Hayden Jaco in from third base with a base hit. Draw a walk here maybe if you can, but he's behind in the count 0-1.
Pardon me, that last hit by Macabrota off of Sebastian Rodriguez.
No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. 4-4 tie. Maple Leafs and Baycats, bottom of the ninth inning. These fans at Athletic Kulture Stadium rewarded with an absolute treat here on opening night. A great ball game between 2 very strong ball clubs. Pitch from Richardson. Swing and a miss. Macabrota with kind of a 3/4 swing there. He just couldn't catch up to it. Richardson dialed in and holding nothing back.
Richardson only had 1 at-bat in which he was pitching with the bases loaded last year.
Will Richardson waste one here or come right back with a fastball? Let's see. He beat Macabrota cleanly on the first 2. Kicks, deals. They wanted the 3rd strike. They don't get it. Richardson continuing to walk towards the dugout, and now he'll head back to the mound.
You can tell how frustrated he was on that call. He was very vocal about his displeasure for that call.
Again, Chebove not calling those outer half pitches. He's called the inside part of the plate tonight, not the outside. So say what you want. He's been consistent. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Great take by Macabrota as he keeps the at-bat alive. Hayden Jaco, the winning run at third base. Macabrota trying to walk it off for the Baycats. Here's the pitch. Outside again. And a nice snare by John Javier. Anything gets by him and this game is over.
You can tell Richardson throughout his appearance so far tonight, when he gets an opponent to 2 strikes early on in the count, 1-2, 0-2, he's really going to go to that slider heavily. I'm expecting a fastball here.
Dustin Richardson and Nolan Macabrota. 2-2 on the way. Swung on and missed. We have bonus baseball here tonight at Athletic Kulture Stadium with the Leafs and Baycats tied at 4. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Thinking about doing a renovation, but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run. The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
Top of the 11th inning, or top of the 10th inning, excuse me, Baycats and Maple Leafs. Maybe it feels like we're heading to the 11th. What a ball game tonight between these clubs. Opening night 2025, and it'll be veteran right-hander Brad Grieveson, 44 years old. Second stint as a Barrie Baycat, and out here on opening night.
Yeah, getting the high leverage innings right away to start the season. 44-year-old Brad Grieveson. We were talking about his final inning of the 2024 season, the championship clinching inning, and how special that was for him, and now put right back into some high leverage baseball.
Bookend IBL championships for Brad Grieveson, surrounding an illustrious baseball career. He was with the 2005 championship winning Baycats, their first of 8 championships in franchise history, and Brad Grieveson getting a ring for the 8th championship as well last year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just missed. 2-1. Grieveson slaps his thigh. A little frustrated that he didn't get that call against Marcus Connect.
So we saw Frank Garces walk past our broadcast booth position on the way back to the clubhouse, had the ice bag around his shoulder. His outing, incredible. 11 strikeouts through 5 innings.
The Leafs have not had a base runner since the 6th inning. Jordan Castaldo singled. John Javier singled as well that inning, but Garces got Justin Mara with a huge strikeout to end that sixth. The Leafs have not had a base runner since. What looked like a high-scoring game through an inning and a half settled down very quickly. Fouled back to the screen, 2-2.
Brad Grieveson went just 16 innings last year, 12 appearances, an ERA over 7 and a 1-2 record.
The bearded right-hander looks in. Works from the stretch, even with the runner at second base here. Here's the pitch. It's a high fastball, not called for a strike. Everybody in the park, including me, thought he might get that one. He didn't. 3-2. Justin Mara is the runner at second for this 10th inning. Kicks and deals. Off speed, and he fouls it back.
Marcus Connect has put together a very nice at-bat, taking some close pitches, but also spoiling some really good ones here from Brad Grieveson.
Grieveson not worrying about the base runner a whole lot, just trying to attack the zone here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, kicks and deals. Swung on and missed. A strikeout for IMP North. 1 away in the 10th.
Big pitch there from Brad Grieveson. Doesn't have the velocity like he used to, but still blowing it by Marcus Connect, who had caught up to the first few big pitches he saw in that at-bat.
Number 19, Dennis Davy.
A high fly ball deep to left field. Garcia back, looks up, it is gone. 2-run shot. Toronto on top by 2 here in the 10th. Dennis Davy with home runs in consecutive games.
We talked about in the open of our broadcast today and how important of a bat he's going to be in this Maple Leafs lineup with the losses of Jose Vinicio, but specifically Jonathan Salazzo as well being that home run hitter. Dennis Davy filling that role perfectly already, like you mentioned, homers in back-to-back games.
A little check at first. I'm not sure what the appeal would be at first base there.
Whether or not he would touch first base on the way around the bases.
Interesting. Swing and a miss. So if he didn't touch first base, would he be out? He'd have to go back and just touch it, right? I've never seen that happen before, so I don't know.
I think I've seen it a few times in Major League Baseball where there'll be the odd appeal, mostly at third base. You don't see it a whole lot at first.
I don't think he'd be out.
He would be called out.
Even after hitting a home run?
Yeah, because he's already gone back to the dugout at that point.
I've never seen it before. It would be interesting. Doesn't matter. It's 6-4 Toronto. Foul back to the screen. Grieveson ahead here, 1-2.
If I recall, there was a moment in the 2023 IBL Finals. I think it was Hayden Jaco. He hit a triple but didn't touch first base, and he ended up being called out.
Yeah, on a triple that makes sense to me, but on a ball that clears the outfield fence, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that was a no-doubter too. Willie Garcia barely moved out in right field watching that ball fly over the fence.
Fouled away, it's 2-2. So a 2-run homer by Dennis Davy. We talked earlier about what a great fit he's going to be at Christie Pitts, playing home games there. I think he's a pretty good home run hitter in any park, including this one.
Well, 2 home runs, but 2 opposite field home runs at that as well. We talked about as well how valuable that is at Christie Pitts with the right field wall being higher.
3-2 pitch from Brad Grieveson. Misses ball 4. Well, then Prey is on. Number 9 hitter to the plate.
Second baseman, number 6, Dan Mara.
Dan Mara 1 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, struck out the last 2 at-bats, both against Frank Garces.
First pitch from Grieveson, and this one hit down the right field line, and it just bounces foul.
Sounded like Mara might have broken his bat. He's going to go back for a new one. Right off the end of the bat, heard that crackle as he shot it out to right field.
We'll be back here on Thursday night next week. I believe it's the Guelph Royals in town.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be exciting. A finals rematch for the first time right back here. And
well, you know, they'll be chomping at the bit to do some damage here in Barrie. This one down the line and foul with the runner in motion. Lamprey was off with that pitch.
Lamprey had that base stolen. He kept inching closer and closer to second base off the bag. Brad Grieveson wasn't even looking over. I wonder if he'll do the same here.
And now time is called as home plate umpire Chubb Ave will come out with a brush. I know the Guelph Royals, it felt like they had a really good ball club last year, and many of them thought if Game 1 had gone a little differently, they could have turned that series into a very different outcome. Here's the 0-2. Hit to the right side and into right field for a base hit. Lamprey will put the brakes on at second. 2 on for the Leafs, still just 1 out. And it's back to the top of the order.
We can tell how well these Maple Leafs hitters are seeing the ball out of Brad Grieveson's hand because all these hits have been to the opposite field. And that one from Dan Mara looked like he was trying to shoot it out to right field specifically. So something about Brad Grieveson tonight that the Leafs hitters are just catching up to.
Sitting started good for Brad with a strikeout of Marcus Connect. That base runner at second came in on the 2-run homer by Dennis DeBanning. And now he finds himself on the wrong end of a 6-4 score. Ryan Dos Santos for the Maple Leafs. Swing and a miss. This game now just past the 3-hour mark. A little after 11 o'clock here in Barrie. No balls, 2 strikes. Grieveson's pitch. Foul over near the bullpen.
We saw action over in that Maple Leafs bullpen in the last couple innings. I would imagine if it's not going to be Dustin Richardson to pitch the bottom of the 10th, it's going to be Adam Mara, who we've seen throwing on multiple occasions.
No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Fouled away again. This would be a great ball game for viewers on the West Coast tonight who might be watching.
Looks like it's 8:06 Pacific time.
Maybe Saskatchewan. Nolan Macabroda's family able to tune in and catch the late innings here.
Take that.
Hayden Jaco from BC as well.
Jaco was telling me that he's actually now living back in BC full time, so his role with the Baycats won't be as as full as it was the last couple seasons. But his plan is to be here for full time for a few stints, making sure he qualifies for the postseason, and then be in the postseason full time.
If you're watching this game in Atlantic Canada or Newfoundland, good morning. Happy Friday. Get the long games out of the way early in the season, right, Julius?
Oh, yeah.
Sure we won't have any other games that go past 11 this year.
Well, don't jinx us, Ben.
High and tight, 2-2. What's the latest you've ever called a live sports event? Can you recall?
I couldn't recall.
We didn't have too many games last year that went too long.
No.
Called strike 3. Grieveson getting Ryan Dos Santos 2 down.
First strikeout of the game for Dos Santos.
It's brought to you by IMP North. 2 away. Grieveson will face John Javier.
We actually only had one extra inning game here last season. It was the IBL Finals, Game 1.
So I mentioned to you that I called a Barrie Colts hockey game one year, a playoff game against the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors. At the time, it was the 3rd longest playoff game in OHL history. It ended at 12:14 a.m. on a triple overtime goal by Devontae Smith-Pelly. So not only did the goal come after midnight and send everyone home cranky, the Barrie Colts lost. And it was a season-ending goal as well.
That's too bad.
Tough night.
I called a lot of OUA ice hockey this year, men's and women's, and I was following the national championship tournament quite a bit when it was on in March. And I wasn't calling the games, but on the men's side, the very first game of the tournament started at 1 p.m. between Mount Royal and Ottawa.
Into left field for a base hit. They're going to send the runner. Zach Lamprey coming home. Here's the throw. The tag. He is out at home plate. A great throw in from left field. Nabs Zach Lamprey for the third out of the top of the 10th. And Barrie will trail by 2 when they come to bat. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May.
We're back live at Athletic Kulture Stadium. Barrie Baycats trailing by 2 here on opening night 2025. Maple Leafs with a pair of runs in the top of the 10th, and it'll be Tristan Clark to bat with the base runner Nolan Macabrota at second base to start this bottom of the 10th inning.
And still looking for his first hit as a Baycat, as an IBL player, and one swing of the bat could tie this game right back up.
That's so strange with that extra runner rule that we've gotten used to it now, but pretty amazing. Down by 2, you can tie it with one swing here.
So often, when that rule first came into Major League Baseball, there was a time I was watching a Blue Jays-Orioles game. It was in Buffalo, and it felt like the Blue Jays were so out of it. They were only down by 1, and then Randall Grichuk hit a walk-off home run with a man on.
Wow.
So,
well, the story tonight, a 2-run homer by Dennis Day-Banning. Justin Morrow was the base runner to start the top of the 10th. And Zach Lamprey thrown out to end that top of the 10th inning. Kill a potential rally. The Leafs could have tacked on a lot more. Aggressive decision on the bases to send him. The Baycats need 2 to tie here in the bottom of the 10th. Dustin Richardson back out for Toronto. Clark with a 2-0 count.
Third inning of work now for Richardson. He struck out the side in the 9th.
Taking all the way. Great patience, 3-0.
Didn't have a strikeout in his first inning of work and brought out the K's when it mattered the most in a clutch situation, straining the bases loaded.
Now Adam Ott is on deck, and if Clark gets on, it would be a potential walk-off situation with Adam Ott at the plate. And there it is, ball 4, 2 on. Odd, the winning run at home plate. Now, is this game one of the IBL finals all over again, Julius? It was a 2-run homer that he hit that night, and it was in the 12th, not the 10th. But an eerily similar situation here with Adam Ott and a chance to end this game with one swing of the bat. Lefty-lefty matchup. Dustin Richardson with the first offering. Swing and a miss. Adam Odd was thinking exactly of what we were just describing.
Yeah, he had a lot of big swings earlier in this game. He struck out a couple of times, and you know the biggest swing for him so far was a single in the 8th inning.
Well, he did it on the first pitch of his at-bat that night against the Guelph Royals in Game 1. Well, maybe he was thinking of doing it again here. An 0-1 count now. Macabrota and Clark, the base runners. Nobody out, bottom of the 10th. Pitch to Odd on the way, and he fouls it back to the screen.
Zach Lamprey, the third baseman, was playing pretty far in on that infield grass, and now he's going to have the chance to move back a bit with an 0-2 count now.
If you're Adam Odd, you don't need to end the game with a swing here. You just got to put the ball in play, keep this inning going. Try to avoid giving the Leafs any easy outs here.
There's nobody out. You have a switch hitter on deck. As long as you can string hits together, you have an advantage. 2 on.
Here's the pitch. Called strike 3. Odd frozen at the plate. And he goes down 3 straight pitches. Good pitching by Dustin Richardson, 1 away.
And that's 4 consecutive outs now by Richardson that have gone by way of the strikeout.
Catcher number 29, Luis Beltran.
Here's Luis Beltran. Well, he could endear himself to this crowd with a big swing here. 1 out, 2 on. Takes the first pitch, and it's low.
Another player still looking for his first hit as a Baycat. And always funny how the storylines come together like that, where a player's in a slump or looking for a first and it comes in the right moment.
I was hoping for the Adam Odd storyline tonight. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Count 1-1. That ball was in and up. Called a strike by Chubave. Baycats down by 2, trying to keep us here a little bit longer tonight. Richardson is ready. Runners lead. He deals. High fastball. Count is 2-1. Some lights that are usually on down that right field line just went off. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not.
Shouldn't be. Those are some of the diamonds that beyond the right field fence.
It is a little strange just to see them shut off.
Just goes to show how late we are already tonight.
Those aren't the lights from our actual ballpark, but they do add to the overall lighting here. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I can understand why Beltran would be upset because he's been behind the plate all night catching those pitches, and he hasn't really seen those called in favor of the Baycats.
The way the strike zone has been tonight, you don't want to get caught in a guessing game. Here's the pitch, foul back.
Put a great swing on that one for sure.
If it's close, you better go after it, especially with 2 strikes.
You can tell that Richardson was trying to overwhelm with a fastball, but Beltran's bat speed very quick, and impressed that he was able to get to that pitch.
2-2 the count. And now time is called as Beltran wants to step out. The crowd that has remained here at Athletic Kulture Stadium is hunkered down for the long haul. 2-2. Called strike 3. Beltran not happy. Has some harsh words for Chubave that we heard up here. Slams his bat in the on-deck circle. He better be careful.
Left fielder number 55, Hayden Jacob.
A lot of negative reactions to the balls and strikes tonight on both sides. Here's Hayden Jaco now. 2 outs. Leafs up by 2. Looking for a chance here to spoil Barrie's opening night here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. 2 on for the Baycats. Swing and a miss by Jaco. The good news, Julius, is that the post-game pizza, which is usually hot, is now cold. It's been sitting there so long, it's not even room temperature anymore. So if you like cold pizza, it's a good night for that post-game meal.
I don't mind room temperature pizza.
I don't like room temperature pizza.
Really?
It's got to be hot or cold for me. I'll take either, but 1 ball, 1 strike.
Obviously, the mood in this ballpark has been diminished by those last couple strikeouts, but fans might forget that a walk-off win is 1 swing away.
And it will end the game. A home run will end it as well. 6-4, Toronto. 1-1 the count, 2 down. Richardson with the delivery. Swung on, I missed. And now the Baycats down to their final strike. Baycats have not led in this ball game. Trailed 3-0, 4-2, tied it with a pair in the bottom of the 8th, and now Toronto with 2 in the top of the 10th. Barrie needing to at least match that to keep this ball game going. They have 2 runners on. Hayden Jaco with a 1-2 count. Richardson with a delivery. Swung on and missed, strike 3. A fist pump and a scream of celebration from Richardson as he comes off the mound, gets a congratulatory handshake from his catcher, and the Maple Leafs spoil the Baycats' opening night party here tonight with an extra innings win by a score of 6-4.
You can tell just how fired up Dustin Richardson was. That a huge outing for him. 3 innings, getting the win, and all 6 of his last outs by way of the strikeout. So a huge confidence booster for Dustin Richardson, who we mentioned has struggled with injury for the last couple of years. And for the Maple Leafs, their first win of the season couldn't come against a more important team, the Barrie Baycats, the reigning champion, and the 400 rivalry lives on.
And after being swept by the Baycats 3-0 in the first round of last year's playoffs, this win has to feel a little extra sweet for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight here in Barrie. Our final tonight, the Maple Leafs 6, the Baycats 4, here on opening night at Athletic Kulture Stadium. Thank you so much for joining us. For the Leafs, their first win of 2025, and the Baycats losing their season opener here tonight. We're back on Thursday evening. We hope you can join us then. For Julius, Hern, and Matty Gale, I'm Ben Davy. Good night from Springwater.